The Oklahoma Sooners have not won in Boulder, Colorado since 1988. They've come to Folsom Field to break that streak and remain the #1 team in the land. Tonight from Boulder, Colorado, college football on TBS Superstation, part of Big PlayStation Saturday, kicks off now.
It's Saturday night, and two teams are set to fight. The Sooners, they're battling to continue their proud legacy and their march to another national title. Colorado has its own winning tradition.
The ball's in the air, caught! Colorado scores!
But this year, the Buffs have their battle. They're fighting to reclaim their edge, their respect.
It is a cold, crisp night in one of college football's most beautiful settings. And a sellout crowd has come to celebrate homecoming and see their Colorado Buffaloes face the #1 team in the country. Tonight from a sold-out Folsom Field, it's the Colorado Buffaloes and the #1 ranked Oklahoma Sooners. Hello again, everybody. Along with Charles Davis, I'm Ron Thulin. And Charles, Missouri head coach Gary Pinkel is a believer about Oklahoma. He said they could be the best team he has seen in a couple of decades. He might be right, as Oklahoma is ranked in the top 10, 9 different categories, and it shows just how complete a team they are.
Yeah, very similar to the lunch your mom packed for you when you were a kid, a complete meal. But these guys do it 3 different ways: offense, defense, and special teams. On offense, they're led by a Heisman Trophy candidate, and they average 46 points per ball game. On defense, Tommy Harris, the most dominating interior lineman in the country. And on defense, they're 3rd in the nation total, plus 12 in turnover margin. And then if that doesn't get you, it's special teams. Antonio Perkins, 4 punt returns for touchdowns, 3 in one game against UCLA, 7 for his career. They truly are a complete team.
Absolutely. Now, Colorado at the beginning of the season, everybody thought that the defense would be the strength of the team and the offense would have to play a little catch up, but it's been the complete opposite, thanks in part to a quarterback who played 2 years of minor league baseball, and he is a good one.
Yeah, and he struggled to hit the curveball, but he can definitely hit the deep out when he throws it. That's Joel Klatt, a 64% thrower and 9 touchdown passes, and his coach and offensive coordinator, Sean Watson, says he's the heart and soul of our team. He can get out of the pocket and throw it, and also throw it standing behind center. They need a big day out of him, and they need a big day out of their 2 big physical wide receivers, DJ Hackett and Derek McCoy, a combined 90 receptions and 9 touchdowns. For Colorado to win today, they need a big production from the offense because their defense is giving up 40 points per game. And also, when you flip it around, Oklahoma, they attack hard from the offensive side. They've scored on the first possession every ball game. Colorado needs success defensively early.
Well, history is not on the side of the Buffaloes. This is the 6th time they faced Oklahoma when the Sooners are #1, and they are yet to upset the top-ranked team. Now let's send it to our studios in Atlanta. Here's Ernie Johnson with Brian Bosworth.
All right, thank you very much, Ron Thulin, and I'm Ernie, but the chair is empty tonight.
Oh, no, I'm here.
The Boz playing hurt. How are you feeling, big guy? I know this is no act. You might be thinking, oh, they're doing some more shtick in the studio. But you're not feeling good.
I'm feeling a little puny.
Yeah.
It's that infectious test tube that I fly in on every week. Everybody coughs and hacks and sneezes on me. The hell's that? But if you're sick, stay home.
While we have time for a highlight.
I think USC is the 2nd best team in this country.
And the best is the place that you went, I would assume.
I'm a little homer right now.
Yeah, the Sooners of Oklahoma fixing to take on the Buffaloes of Colorado. That's our game on TBS. And look at this. The Boz says, TBS, Boomer Sooner, baby. Is that a quote? You're out of it, aren't you?
I'm a little fuzzy.
Yeah, more than a little. We'll be back.
Just a couple of moments ago, Ralphie took the field, and the Colorado Buffaloes behind them. They are 18-1 in their last 19 homecoming games, and they've got 53,750 people crowding into Folsom Field tonight to watch this game between the Buffaloes and the top-ranked Sooners. Let's go down to the field. Craig Sager is standing by with Gary Barnett. Craig.
Well, Coach, yesterday you met privately with each one of your players. What is their overall attitude towards tonight's challenge?
Well, our our guys want to play this game. They're excited about playing this game, and they're excited about the challenge. And, you know, they're just fed up with being maligned, and they just want to play the way they feel like they're capable of playing.
They concluded a spirited week of practice by chanting, "We're going to beat Oklahoma. We're going to beat Oklahoma." How do they make good on that promise?
Well, we're going to see. We're going to make good on that promise. So.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach. Back up to you, Ed.
Pretty bold statement by Gary Barnett. Third time he's played Bob Stoops and the Oklahoma Sooners in the last 12 months. Of course, the regular season last year and the Big 12 championship game in which the Sooners won both rather handily. Bob in his 5th year, how about 50-9 so far at Oklahoma? And he did those 50 wins in 59 games. And just before the game, Aaron Andrews had a chance to spend some time with Coach Stoops. Aaron, what did he say?
Well, Stoops told me his team is not looking ahead. They're not even thinking about next week's matchup against Oklahoma State. But what they do need to think about is this. Over the past 4 seasons, Oklahoma suffered 4 losses in the second half of the season, and that kept him out of the national championship picture. But Stoops says this is the most focused, the most together team he has had since the 2000 national championships. Ron?
Not going to get an argument from any of us as you look at Folsom Field in the Sooners' history. The Sooners lead at 36-16-2. Oklahoma 2-0 last season versus Colorado. But people forget, Charles, that before that, Colorado owned Oklahoma.
Yeah, they had an 8-0-1 streak going against them. And, you know, Oklahoma hasn't won here since, what, 1988, I believe it was, when they were number 1 at the time and won 28-7. But that game was a 7-7 game at the half.
Well, let's do our weekly weather report. You can see what it was on Wednesday. We got here Thursday. It was 84 and gorgeous. Got a little nippy yesterday. And right now they're saying it's 48 degrees at kickoff. I'm going to say it's a little bit chillier than that.
I'm a little bitter. Why didn't we kick off Thursday?
Exactly. And then, of course, we always have the fraternity brothers that say, I'm going to get on TV and take off my shirt, Mom.
Nothing like a little antifreeze.
Not a bit. And Gary Barnett, I tell you what, his team, they had a great, as Craig mentioned, a great spirited week of practice. And they're ready. They're tired of hearing all the negative thoughts about this team. Kick it away. Jeremy Bloom, an exciting player in the middle of the field. They're going to kick away from him. It'll go in the end zone, and Colorado will take over their first possession from their own 20-yard line. Now, this Colorado offense generates yards, just not a lot of points, but they're led by Joel Klatt, a sophomore. He's a son of a coach. He is the energy of this offense, Charles.
And what's interesting about Joel Klatt is being the son of a coach, you would think he would be well-schooled in the passing game as a quarterback. His dad threw it maybe 4 times per ball game. Yeah. But he has really taken charge of this ball club. As his coach Sean Watson said, he really puts an investment into the game with film study and a lot of extra preparation and work.
Well, he's sort of a modified West Coast offense that they run. Lawrence Vickers from the fullback position goes back to the fullback. They'll keep it on the ground. Calhoun will get the first carry, and Teddy Lehman is going to wrap him up. Now let's take a look at our U.S. Army of One starting lineups, and we'll take a look at the rest of the Oklahoma defense. This defense plays with a great deal, or first the rest of the Colorado offense. They're big physical receivers. DJ Hackett, number 2 in the Big 12 in receiving. The line, keep an eye on Marwan Hayes. He moved from center to guard right before the Florida State game, but this is a line that is much improved over the last couple of weeks, and that's a key tonight.
And they need to find a way to keep Joel Klatt upright and keep the Oklahoma defensive front 4 off of him.
DJ Hackett on the far side, Ron Monte on the near side. Klatt puts it up for the first time. Caught and dropped immediately, DJ Hackett. Now this Oklahoma defense, now they play with discipline and pride. They're number 3 in the NCAA in total D. Best front 4 in all of college football. Jonathan Jackson leads the defensive lineman and tackles at linebacker. Dennison's going to start for the injured Pasha Jackson, but it's the Butkus semifinalist Teddy Lehman who's really their leader. And in the secondary, Derek Strait, he is a dandy coming off a couple of great games versus Texas and Missouri. Third down for the Buffs. We'll call it 4, ball on the 26-yard line, first series of the game. Klatt sees pressure from Harris, steps up, and he is going to be tripped up at the 23-yard line. I think that was an oops by the way tackle, wasn't it?
And that was simply the front 4 rushing. They dropped 7 into coverage on this play. Watch to the right side of your screen, number 97, Tommy Harris. He makes the initial pressure at number 92, Larry Burdine. He piled up Sam Wilder, number 74 in black. That caused Klatt to slip. The first punt of the game coming.
Well, John Torp is going to kick it away for Colorado, though. They had 2 blocked versus Kansas State last week. And the Kansas State on that first one, Charles, came right up the middle. There was no protection whatsoever.
Let's see if Oklahoma challenges them early tonight.
Antonio Perkins, one of the most prolific punt returners, standing back. They kick it short, hits at the 40. And they'll mark it dead at about the 37-yard line. Good field position for Oklahoma after the 40-yard kick. Now this OU offense, number 2 scoring offense in the country, almost 46 points a game, led by the front runner for the Heisman Trophy, Jason White, number 1 in the country in pass efficiency.
Yeah, this is a guy with 2 bad knees, blown ACLs the last 2 seasons, and if anything, he's improved as a quarterback due to his time off and great film preparation, as well as struggling to get back into the lineup with a great deal of rehab.
Oklahoma 7 for 7 scoring on their first possessions of the game. Ronaldo works to try the left side, and he is going to be stacked up by the Colorado defense. Let's take a look. Wait a minute, they're saying that ball wasn't down. One up, it is down. That is not a touchdown. There's 3 officials saying the ball was down. Everybody hold on. He was down back at the 36-yard line. John Bible is the official.
Ruling on the field is the runner was down by contact.
And watch the referee on this one, John Bible. He's right here. He stays with the play because he doesn't hear the whistle and hear the rest of his crew tell him that the ball is down. Yeah. So when the ball was picked up, see there, J.J. Billingsley, John Bible actually ran with the play thinking the play was still going, but it hadn't been signaled down by the side judge.
That's a good call by the officials. Alex Donnelly now in motion, the tight end. Jason White's first pass of the ball game tries a little slip screen. Ronaldo works, looks for the first down marker, and he is going to be just a shade short. Gets up to about the 47-yard line. Let's take a look at the rest of that Oklahoma offense. Mark Clayton, the wide receiver, 23 receptions the last 3 games. He has now become the go-to guy. And this Oklahoma line, Charles, they're big, they're quick, they're physical. Jamal Brown at right tackle, he's allowed only 1 sack this year.
Yeah, and if you check the Oklahoma game notes, they call him Jamal, J-A-M-A-U-L Brown.
That's right.
For the physical blocking that he's providing Jason White and the running backs.
This would be a moral victory for this Colorado defense if they can break this Oklahoma string of scoring on the first possession. It's 3rd down and 1. White is looking to throw it, looking deep, down the middle. Has a man, Brandon Jones, touchdown Oklahoma. Brandon Jones, the junior out of Texarkana, Texas, his 4th touchdown reception. Charles, he zigged, he zagged, got everybody turned around.
Watch him on this route. You've heard of double moves. Watch a triple. Inside, outside, then back, inside again. 3rd and short. It was less than 1 yard for that play, partner. And Chuck Long, the offensive coordinator, we have to change his name to the Oklahoma Kid. He's a lot more riverboat gambler than he is conservative. What a great call early in the game.
Well, DiCarlo for the extra point, and it is good. It did not take Oklahoma long. 3 plays to move the football into pay dirt. The number 1 ranked team already up 7-0. Only took the Oklahoma Sooners 59 seconds to get on the board, and they're a perfect 8 for 8 on opening possessions and scores. As Brandon Jones, 54 yards from Jason White. The Sooners already lead it 7-0. That kind of quieted the crowd. They thought they had a fumble return for a touchdown. The play was down. As you look at Jeremy Bloom, World Cup champion in mogul skiing. Bloom, who had a kickoff return for a touchdown against Kansas State, not going to try this one. 5 yards deep, will take a knee. How did he get so open, Charles?
Let's take a look. This is Brandon Jones right there, the receiver. And what he does is he comes downfield, out, in. Almost 4 moves running it against Sammy Joseph, the corner. Play action fake in the backfield, and look at the protection. No problem at all for Jason White to step into the throw. Brandon Jones wide open. Easy throw downfield, touchdown. Actually, I take that back. That was number 6 on the play. That wasn't Sammy Joseph. Number 6 was Phil Jackson, who was in the ball game early at a corner.
Well, Phil Jackson, though, he's a guy that's trying to fight his way back into the starting lineup and gets burned as Calhoun, shaking and baking, gets over the 20 up to the 24-yard line. Rodney Poole coming up from that free safety spot. Let's talk about this Oklahoma defense. It's been talked a lot about how great they are. They lose Mitchell. Pasha Jackson's hurting, but they've moved people around, and Mike Stoops moving Dante Nicholson over, getting Rodney Poole back on the field. They've got so many different parts of this defense.
Yeah, you take a look. The defensive line has really come to play this year. You saw some of the stats that they've put up early, but they've been very deep in the secondary, which has allowed them to go to more of a 4-2-5 base package and have a lot of DBs on the field.
That's going to put it up. It's got good protection, goes into the flat, deep looking for DJ Hackett, incomplete. But he had time. We saw that stat a moment ago. This Oklahoma defensive line already has more sacks and quarterback hurries than they did all of last year, led by a couple of great players, including Dvorak and Tommy Harris.
Well, they've been getting so much pressure up front with their front four and sometimes with a three-man rush that they can run the sixth defensive back onto the field here in a third down situation. And this is the package that concerns Sean Watson, the offensive coordinator for Colorado, because now Oklahoma has 3 down defensive linemen, but you're not sure where they're going to come from with the linebackers and defensive backs to get a 4- and 5-man rush on the quarterback.
Heavy disguise on their third down package. Klatt now gets hit as he throws. Complete. First down, Colorado. He took quite a wallop as he got the ball away to Ron Monte, the junior out of Beverly Hills, California. Wayne Chambers lowered the boom on Klatt. That's called standing in the pocket, partner.
Precisely. Stood in, knew he was going to have to absorb the hit, and still delivered. And let's take a look at it from Joel Klatt's perspective. As he steps back, Wayne Chambers, number 15 in white, strikes him right between the 1 and the 4, but the ball's already gone, right on target. First down, Colorado.
Well, Joel Klatt had to miss a couple of games, injured his shoulder, and boy, this offense is not the same without him. Out of the flat to Jeremy Bloom, and that's the quickness of that Oklahoma defense. Antonio Perkins, the junior out of Lawton, Oklahoma. Everybody talks about Perkins being a great punt returner. He's a pretty good cover.
Well, watch him here. He reads it and gets underneath the screen right away. As he sees Joel Klatt come, watch him. Here he comes right now. Boom. Gets underneath the block that's supposed to be delivered by the wide receiver. Underneath the screen. Perfect play by Antonio Perkins, because normally, partner, that's the type of play you can throw when a corner's backed off in coverage. But Antonio Perkins ran underneath, made a big play.
A loss of 3 on the play. Second down and 13. We're 5 minutes into the opening quarter. Glad you're with us tonight from Boulder, Colorado. Klatt looking for the screen. Gets it to Calhoun, and he is going to be nailed right at the 26-yard line. He's going to be thrown back another couple of yards. That's a great case of Dante Nicholson, the junior out of Walnut, California, coming up to make the stop.
Well, screen me once. It doesn't work. Try a different screen. First it was a wide receiver screen. Screen me twice with the running back. It doesn't work again. Goes back to the 4-2-5 look with 5 defensive backs on the field at all times, and Dante Nicholson, a hybrid linebacker defensive back. They have total quickness on the field, able to run underneath these pass patterns and make plays.
Only 26% of the time have opponents been successful on third down against Oklahoma. They're showing a blitz. They bring 5. Here they come again. Klatt steps up, and he's going to be dropped. Back at the 25-yard line, a loss of another yard, and this time it's Brandon Everidge, the senior out of Granger, Texas, with his first sack of the year. Once again, what we talked about, they come from everywhere.
Yeah, but he also got some help from number 93, Corey Klein, collapsing the pocket in the middle. Everidge gets to him first, coming from the outside, number 7, but number 93, Klein, helps finish him off. You said you were right, they brought 5. The extra defensive back was Everidge coming up into coverage. And what they do is they send the 5th guy, but they still play zone behind it so they don't give up big plays.
John Torp standing out at about his 11, had 41 yards on the first kick. Oklahoma looking for the block, and they were close. Perkins waits for the fair catch. Back at the 28-yard line, Oklahoma will have it. First and 10 for the Sooners. It took them 59 seconds to score. The last time they had the ball, they lead by a touchdown. Sooners have won 6 straight versus the Big 12 North. They have not lost a game before October 27th since 1999.
Yeah, you go back to the point Aaron Andrews made for us right before kickoff about Oklahoma not looking past people, and you know they're 4 losses in the second half of the season. Oklahoma State twice, Texas A&M and Nebraska back in 2001.
Let's see if Oklahoma goes back and picks on Phil Jackson. Jackson running back and forth at about the 35-yard line. The Sooners will keep it on the ground. The running game has been good. Ronaldo works, has some running room, stiff arms. Inside the 35, penalty flag is thrown. We'll have a face mask. Sammy Joseph may have gotten the hand on the grill. How about the last 5 games of Oklahoma rushing attack, averaging 171 yards?
Look at how many people they get their hats on right away, and then as Works gets into the secondary, you asked, will they pick on, Phil Jackson in the secondary? Well, what happened on the play was Mark Clayton on the corner blocked on Phil Jackson. He couldn't get off the block and fold back inside. It became a bigger play for Ronaldo Works downfield.
Craig Sager, you have more on Phil Jackson.
Well, Ron, it was a surprise that he was starting. Phil Jackson hadn't played the last couple of games because he had been very ineffective in the games. He had lost his starting position to a true freshman, Terrence Wheatley. But the coaching staff thought he had a good week of practice, decided to give him another chance today. Remember, this guy was a starter for 3 straight years. But obviously, he's back in the starting lineup tonight, but having a rough start.
Yeah, he was second team All Big 12 last year. Works again, kicks his way down to about the 15-yard line, pick up about 3 on the play. How about that game Ronaldo Works had against Texas? 112 yards rushing, career high. Last 3 games, Charles, he's averaging almost 99 yards a game.
Yeah, and the Oklahoma running game has really come alive the last few ball games too, averaging nearly 175 yards per game on the ground, and they're working 3 tailbacks into the mix. Ronaldo Works, Kejuan Jones, and Dante Hickson.
Let's see if White goes for pay dirt on this. Second down, we'll call it 8. 2 wide receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Keep it on the ground, Works straight ahead running again down to the 7-yard line. You look at this Colorado defense and you see where they're ranked in passing yards, 115th, total defense 109. As an offensive coordinator, do you think Chuck Long's got to be careful not getting in a mode like, oh, we're just going to throw it against them all the time, and you still have to be yourself, don't you?
Yes, you do. Despite looking at numbers that are as unimpressive as Colorado's are on defense, you have to take care of your own business first. Your base stuff with a few wrinkles, then you look at how you can run plays that can hurt the other defense.
3rd down and 1. Oklahoma with a couple of tight ends. That's going to be an illegal shift. We had everybody moving. The tight ends just couldn't quite get it to sync.
Good ball foul. False start on the offense. 5 yards. 3rd down.
Now Coach Gundy, Coach Stoops want to know what's going on.
He thought the shifts were okay.
I'd have a problem yelling at the Bible. There's just something about that that just doesn't sit right with me.
So are you saying that maybe you might take a more low-key approach when you ask?
Yes, I would.
Excuse me, Mr. Bible, Mr. Referee, sir.
That's right.
Might that have been an okay shift as we look at 3rd down conversions for the season, 41% for the Oklahoma Sooners.
And the crowd is getting into it as Jason White yelling instructions. He'll go from the shotgun.
A little more spread out in the offensive line.
And they're going to call the timeout. That'll be the first of the ball game. 6:13 to play in the first quarter. The Sooners facing 3rd down and 6 from the 13-yard line. Seven to nothing as the sun is setting just outside of Boulder. It is a beautiful evening for football where the #1 team leads 7-0. And it was 3rd and 1. The penalty made it 3rd down and 6. Now Oklahoma, during that timeout, went up to the line. They thought they were going to be able to snap the football, Charles. And we were still on a TV timeout. So now they've come back over to the sideline to talk to Coach Stoops.
A lot of times teams will just come back and regroup and just start over again. You know, it's almost like you get your steps wrong when you're a bowler and you stop, you come back, start over again, and get your whole routine back. And here they come out to the line of scrimmage.
3rd down and 6. Ball's on the 13. Colorado showing blitz. Here they come. Oklahoma picks it up. White across the middle. Good defensive play. Pass interference will be called on Phil Jackson.
Just when I was about to say he's going to gain a lot of confidence from a big-time play, the flag's going to be thrown on him for interference coming across the top.
Pass interference on the defense. Ball will be spotted on the 10-yard line. 1st down.
Take a look. This is Phil Jackson. Let's see if he comes across the top. If he has an arm draped on Brandon Jones, does he get there early? I can't see the back. See where he's hooked him around the back?
Yeah.
That must be what the official's seeing. Now we'll see it from the back view. Let's take a look. Yeah, he's got him. Yep. Excellent call by the officials. He's got him. And you know how hard it is for me to say that.
Well, I tell you, yeah, that pains you. You defensive backs just pain.
You got to stick together. Gary Barnett, he's not going to like it, but it was an excellent call by the officials.
First down and goal for the Sooners at the 2-yard line. They'll keep it on the ground. Works. Looking for the end zone. They give it to him. Yes, touchdown, Oklahoma. Rushing touchdown of the year for the senior out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Ronaldo Works, and the Sooners up 13-0.
Two things happened on the touchdown run. J.D. Runnels, the fullback, excellent kick-out block. And then Ronaldo Works just won the one-on-one battle with Matt McChesney, number 60, the defensive tackle, to get into the end zone.
Well, David Carlo will be out for the extra point. The Sooners complete team. He's only missed 2 on the year, and he's perfect tonight. 6:03 to play in the first. 14-0. The Sooners have the advantage.
Watch Works, number 47. He slips one tackle, and then Matt McChesney has a chance to get him down, takes him high, and Works just twists his way in. You know, the question is, was he down as he tumbled into the end zone? His backside went down before he got in, but again, we always have the benefit of slow motion instant replay. The officials on a bang-bang, full-speed play saw him as in the end zone.
Now, this is a potent offensive team. Had a streak of 4 50-point games snapped at Missouri as they only beat Missouri 34-13. But I think a lot of people said there's a chink in the armor because in the second half, the Sooners only scored 3 points, fewest since last year's opener versus Tulsa. And in that second half, they only had 33 yards running the football on 18 rushes. Everybody was concerned.
Well, it's almost a bit of whistling in the dark, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
As you walk past the graveyard, you know, trying to make yourself brave. People are always looking for a chink in the armor of the top team in the country. You know, you try and take what you can out of it. They were already up 31-10.
Well, Colorado needs to do something on this possession. Jeremy Bloom will take it from about the 8. Has some running room. He scampers to the outside, crosses the 35, up to the 40, to the 43-yard line. Jeremy Bloom, an excellent kickoff return, the senior from Loveland, Colorado.
You think the Buffaloes needed this one? Of course they did. They need a spark to get themselves back into the game. And this little guy right here, number 15, Jeremy Bloom, tends to provide at least 1 spark per ball game for Colorado. In his less than 2-year career, he averages nearly 19 yards every time he touches the football. Kickoff returns, punt returns, and as a receiver.
I'll tell you, he finished 9th at Salt Lake City in the mogul competition at the Winter Olympics, came back the month after that and won the World Cup. Flat, little play action. Throws deep into the flat, passes caught down at the 38-yard line. DJ Hackett, the senior out of Ontario, California. Coming off a 7-reception, 106-yard day versus K-State.
Look at the offensive line. They've been maligned, and Oklahoma brought their 2 linebackers, Teddy Lehman, number 11, and Wayne Chambers, number 15, as we take a look again from the All-State goalpost cam. And Joel Klatt had plenty of time to step into the throw to DJ Hackett for a first down. Pickup
of 18 on the play. Colorado doing something that they needed to do. Move the football. Keep it on the ground with Lawrence Vickers, the fullback, the sophomore out of Houston, Texas, Forest Brook High School. What I liked on that pass, though, when we saw Joel Klatt, the sophomore, he has some velocity on his ball. We saw him at practice Thursday. He's a lot bigger than you think. They have him at 6'1", 195, but he's solid, and he can really put some zip on the ball.
And add to it his poise in the pocket. Because even before you play Oklahoma, you know the pressure is going to be there, and sometimes you get jumpy even if no one's around. Joel Klatt didn't do that on that pass to DJ Hackett.
2nd down and 9, Monte in motion. Another play action, looks for Calhoun in the flats, got him. Crosses the 30, still on his feet, leans forward down to about the 28-yard line. Brian Calhoun, the sophomore out of Oak Creek, Wisconsin. he has been used more and more as a receiver. Had a career-high 7 receptions versus K-State last week.
What I like about this play is Joel Klatt's progressions. His first look is downfield for one of his wide receivers. Sees he's not open, comes off of it to Brian Calhoun, who, as you just mentioned, has become a much more proficient pass receiver. And Colorado, again, gets a first down.
You know what I like, too, is Calhoun's learning more and more to run north-south after he catches it instead of dancing around. This time Calhoun straight ahead, leans forward down to about the 25-yard line, picks up 2 on the play. Derek Strait, the senior out of Austin, Texas, coming up to make the stop.
There's so much pressure on the Colorado offense because the defense has been giving up 40 points per ball game that they feel that they need to score every time they have the ball. They're down 2 touchdowns already. That makes this drive so crucial to what Colorado wants to get done tonight that they have to get a touchdown on this one.
You can see the total offense. Oklahoma already over the century mark. Now 2nd and 7. Klatt throws it out of the flat, just overthrows Calhoun. That was not a lateral. And Wayne Chambers again putting pressure, and once again, we talked about it early, they come from everywhere.
And Colorado actually had something working there. That's one of those crack swing plays. Crack down with the wide receiver, swing it out to the back, and then you put the back in a one-on-one position with the defender. If Brian Calhoun had been able to bring it down, Colorado 1 for 3 on 3rd downs today.
And they're facing 3rd and 7. Beginning to break down, gets it out to Calhoun, has some running room, another first down. Derek Strait with his 4th tackle of the game already, and it was a touchdown saving tackle.
Nice play again by Joel Klatt to Brian Calhoun. On the last play, if the ball had been completed, Calhoun had a chance for a one-on-one move in open field. This time he gets the opportunity and makes the most of it, putting the move on Dante Nicholson, the number 2 tackler on the Oklahoma team coming into the game. He wins that battle before Derek Strait takes him out over the sideline. Colorado has a nice drive going right now.
Tell you what, I like this Joel Klatt, 7 of 9 throwing the football. This is only the 15th time somebody's gotten into Oklahoma's red zone. Rodney Poole coming up to make the stop, the sophomore out of Westbury High School in Houston, Texas. This Oklahoma defense, they took it personally when Missouri tied them last week at 10-10. And Mike Stoops telling us last night, they just flat out got mad. they put the halt on Brad Smith, who had a big game today.
They got a little angry and got a spark from the offense when Mark Clayton made a tremendous catch over Nino Williams in the secondary, and then all of a sudden Oklahoma extended, went from 10-10 to 31-10 at the half.
They need to get down to about the 6-yard line for a first down. Oklahoma showing blitz again. Klatt, the deep out, has a man caught down at the 3-yard line. Again, it is Hackett. That pass was on the money again by Joel Klatt.
Yes, it was. And is this the same offensive line that gave up 17 sacks earlier in the season? It can't be, because they are protecting him well. Great move by DJ Hackett. Takes him in and then takes him out to the corner. Antonio Perkins had the baseball roll, turn all the way around to come over and make the coverage. Again, as you just mentioned, perfect pass by Joel Klatt. 1st and goal for the Colorado Buffaloes.
And the ball sits on the 3-yard line. Calhoun alone in the backfield. 3-step drop. They're throwing it deep for Hackett. Got it! Touchdown, Colorado!
Watch DJ Hackett to the wide side of the field. Ball was perfectly thrown to the back corner of the end zone. Great throw by Joel Klatt. Excellent route by DJ Hackett. And the Buffaloes are on the scoreboard.
Well, Missouri did that last week, and Oklahoma got tipped. Let's see if they'll do it again. The extra point is good. Mason Crosby with it. There's the touchdown again.
Look at where the ball's thrown. Really, and only one person's going to come down with that one. That's DJ Hackett, because it's thrown out and away from the defender. Great ball by Joel Klatt. That's something you noticed in warm-ups today.
Right.
How Joel Klatt was working on throwing balls to the different sections of the end zone with his receivers. You can see where the timing has really paid off. These guys spent a lot of time together in the summer, and they really have a great connection. Talk about DJ Hackett, Derek McCoy, and Joel Klatt, the quarterback.
Well, you talk about the summer, and Gary Barnett was so pleased that Joel Klatt just took control of the situation, especially with his wide receivers, and they had some pretty good coaching to those wide receivers this summer also.
Yeah, they really did, because Ted Gilmore was hired as the new wide receivers coach for Colorado when John Embry left and went to UCLA. And they said John Embry really put a lot of the foundation in place. Ted Gilmore's been like finishing school for these wide receivers, and everyone's benefited.
Mark Bradley and Antonio Perkins back to receive the kick. Perkins from the 2 has running room. Nice move, but he was going to be stacked up at the 20-yard line, and Colorado has a little intensity going now. Different translators. I think they got 5 different countries represented there. Going to be a great game Tuesday night. The NBA kicks off. Hope you join us.
They all speak hoops pretty well, though, don't they?
They speak hoopology. White throws it out on the flat. Mark Clayton is going to be upended at the 20-yard line. He'll lose a couple of yards. Phil Jackson, after getting burned by that touchdown pass, coming up to make the stop.
Well, we saw the speed of the Oklahoma defensive backs earlier on a possession. Watch J.J. Billingsley, number 5 in black. The same type of a play. Reads the screen, uses his speed to get underneath the blocker so no one can get to him. Trips up Mark Clayton. Nice play by Billingsley.
Second down and 12. Sooners will try the running game. Ronaldo works, gets over the 25, up to about the 27-yard line. That'll bring up a 3rd down and 5 situation. We talked about this Oklahoma running game. The last 5 games have really kicked it into high gear. This offensive line, though, has been so good. They changed their blocking schemes last year, and this year they're just getting very comfortable what they're doing.
That's because of the time they've spent together and have really adopted Kevin Wilson's blocking techniques since he came in last season.
The Buffs showing blitz. They only bring 4. White with time into the flat, passes complete at the 30-yard line. Running room up to the 33-yard line. It's Mark Clayton. And that'll be good enough for a 1st down. The junior out of Arlington, Texas. 190 yards receiving against Texas a couple of weeks ago. You can see his school record, 7 100-yard games.
He broke the record of Eddie Hinton, who played for a good while in the NFL for the Baltimore Colts. But the problem for Colorado has been the 3rd down defense doesn't look bad on paper, 33%. But when they give up plays, it's been an average of about 18 yards per catch on 3rd down, or 18 yards per play. You've got to tackle and get that man on the ground.
White again, plenty of time, going deep down the middle. It's going to be overthrown, incomplete. Intended for Mark Clayton. Phil Jackson step for step on the coverage. Now this is kind of a break in tradition for Oklahoma. They throw the ball to set up the run.
Yeah, normally you always think about teams wanting to loosen the defense up by being able to run the ball, and then you can go to the throwing game. But because they have their strength in throwing, right here, this is Chuck Long. That's their offensive coordinator. Taking a look at things, he knows he plays to his strength, and then they loosen up the defense via the pass and then come back inside with their 3 running backs.
Chuck involved in the closest Heisman Trophy race. Knows a little bit about it. Dante Hickson seeing his first appearance tonight. The ball is loose. It is loose. Does Colorado have it? The Buffs have it. Sorrell, the senior out of Aurora, Colorado, Eagle Crest High School with the pigskin.
Never got the ball clean on the handoff. It was not the fault of the quarterback. He put it in the pocket, but Dante Hickson never closed down on the football well, just came out. Colorado, a big break early. This is a team that has not gotten many turnovers.
That's right.
Coming in this game, what, only one in their last 16 quarters? They needed that desperately. Now they need to make it pay off. Will Joel Klatt go to the air and take a strike at him right now?
And you can see their problems with turnovers. The only turnover that last 16 and a half quarters came in a fumble in the Baylor game. Now they've got 1st and 10 from the 35-yard line. Calhoun is going to be dragged back for a loss of about 3. Teddy Lehman, the senior out of Fort Gibson, Oklahoma, the pride of Fort Gibson. And that's going to be the end of quarter number 1. The Sooners strike first. They have 14 points on the board. Colorado comes back with a touchdown of their own. Quarter 2 straight ahead. Welcome back to college football on TBS, part of Big PlayStation Saturday. And as we get set to start the second quarter, the Oklahoma Sooners went up 14-0, but the Buffaloes not backing down. It's 14-7. Hello with Charles Davis, Craig Sager, Aaron Andrews. I'm Ron Thulin. Welcome you back to beautiful Boulder, Colorado. This Oklahoma defense headed up by Bob and Mike Stoops. After their offense turns the ball over, they have been extremely stingy. They have allowed opponents only 7 points off turnovers this year.
And now with a 2nd and 14 facing Joel Klatt, I think Colorado will need to throw the balls. We look at Colorado's first 3 possessions, punt, then the last touchdown pass to DJ Hackett. I fully expect Oklahoma to bring pressure on Klatt now. They haven't gotten to him recently.
2nd and 14. They're showing 3 down linemen, but a lot of white jerseys moving up to the line. McCoy wide to the right. Straight ahead. Calhoun breaks into the secondary. Crosses the 30 down to the 27-yard line. Will be about 3 yards short of the first down. Dante Nicholson with his 2nd tackle of the ball game.
Nice call by Sean Watson, the offensive coordinator, but a better run by Brian Calhoun because he breaks a tackle early and slips into the secondary to set up Colorado for a 3rd and about 3.
Pickup of 11 on the play. 3rd down, we'll call it officially 2 yards to go. You see the numbers on Calhoun.
And you mentioned earlier how he's not dancing behind the line of scrimmage as much anymore. He's hitting the hole and getting into the secondary.
Now the Sooners with 5 on the line of scrimmage. Klatt, play action. Not much to throw, but he gets it complete inside the 20 down to the 17-yard line. Joe Klopfenstein, the big tight end out of Aurora, Colorado.
A lot of different formations and motion from Colorado. Look from the left part of your screen to the right, coming back across. There's Klopfenstein, number 89, bobbles it a little bit, secures the catch, and Colorado continues to keep their drive alive with big plays on 3rd down.
That's the 16th reception for the big tight end. Now the ball is on the 17-yard line, 1st and 10. Calhoun gets a block, cuts back inside the 10, down to the 6-yard line. Brandon Everidge took the legs out from underneath him, and they're going to mark it back at the 8.
Ever since the turnover, the Colorado Buffaloes offense has really picked up the pace. Take a look from our goalpost cam coming right at you. Nice block there inside on 15 Chambers. Another great block there by number 86, Jesse Wallace, allowing Calhoun to get to the 2nd and 3rd level of the Oklahoma defense.
We want to thank Allstate for providing tonight's goalpost cam. You're in good hands with Allstate. Daniel Jolly, now the fullback, the freshman out of San Antonio, straight ahead running. Fumble, the ball is loose. Sooners have it. Nicholson over the 10 up to the 12-yard line. Boy, that is a tough break for this Colorado offense.
Again, coming at you from behind from the Allstate goalpost cam. A lot of white shirts inside. Ball comes free, and Nicholson, number 8. Ordinarily, you'd say, hey, just get on the ball. But he had a lot of room, picks it up, tries to make like a tailback before he's tackled by Calhoun.
Now, Daniel Jolly is a very talented young true freshman, coughed it up.
And those are the types of plays that you cannot have against Oklahoma.
Ron Jones now in the Sooner backfield, and he gets his way over the 15-yard line up to the 17. Ryan Iwu coming up to make the stop. The sophomore out of Houston, Texas, Worthing High School. And there's Mr. Jolly. I've had a chance to watch this young man down in San Antonio. He is going to be a whale of a player. 230 pounds on that 6-foot frame, and he's learning a very valuable lesson now. You got to shake it off.
Yeah, got to have possession of the football. Can't be a good running back if the ball's on the ground.
White looking for that little screen pass. Jawan Rankins gets upended at the 25-yard line. Now let's send it back to Atlanta with Ernie. And the sigh you hear is from the BCS committee. That's kind of a whoa.
Woo! Dodge one there, didn't we?
Yeah, boy, there's a fly in the old ointment there. 1st and 10 for the Sooners on the 25 after the turnover. Ron Jones, nothing doing. Now this is where this young Colorado team, not only the defense but the offense, has to step up. Yes, they had a great drive going. Then they coughed the ball up. But how are they going to handle adversity against the best in the country?
Yeah, it's real easy to hang your head when you think you have a chance for a touchdown and then blame the offense for not getting points. Right. But the defense, and we've mentioned it a few times already, giving up 40 points per ball game. I think the last 5 games, more than 42 points per ball game. They've got to find a way to stiffen up and get the ball back and keep field position for their offense.
4 wide receivers set for the Sooners. Empty backfield, White looking in the flat. They don't want him scrambling. Throws it complete up to the 35-yard line. Travis Wilson, the sophomore out of Carrollton, Texas, with his 12th catch of the year. Now you look at Jason White's numbers, 67% completion. Had a terrible day against Missouri. Only completed 58% of his passes, Charles.
Yeah, and if I were Chuck Long, his offense coordinator, I would run him till he got sick for not completing more passes like that. Just tells you the standard that he's established this season. And hard as it is to believe, Jason White is tonight, I believe, his 12th start as a quarterback here at Oklahoma. You know, everybody would think that this guy's a 5th-year senior with the poise and the ability that he's been demonstrating this season. And when I say 5th-year seniors, they get the first down. I mean a 5th-year senior with a lot of playing time. Jason White's been around the program a long time. He came in, I believe, when Bob Stoops took the job here at Oklahoma. Just has been hurt so much, he hasn't been able to accumulate the game time that's necessary, often necessary for a quarterback to develop. He's kind of breaking that mold, isn't he?
Yeah, but you know what? He spent the time watching Josh Heupel, watching Nate Hibble, 2 excellent quarterbacks.
Spent all the time in the film room, did a lot of that psycho-cybernetics. Imagine the game even when he couldn't play it.
Closing in on 3,000 yards. Very impressive. It was a first down for Jason White. Going deep down the middle. Pass almost picked off, intended for Jawan Rankins. Pretty good coverage by Terrence Wheatley, the true freshman out of Richardson, Texas. Plano East High School.
Yeah, good coverage by Wheatley, but this is going to go on Jason White because this ball was just thrown too high and too far. If he throws the ball in the hole where Rankins is, then he's got a chance to make a play, and then he forces Wheatley, number 26, to break up and make a play on the ball. That one just sailed on him a little bit. It's been, 90-degree temperature in Oklahoma. A little chillier here. I wonder what kind of feel Jason White has in his hands throwing the ball.
Feel? What feel? Ronaldo works left side, gets hit as he gets up to the 39-yard line and leans forward to the 41-yard line. Sean Tufts coming up from that middle linebacker spot to make the stop. You know, the Sooners have done it all this year. They've done it with big plays. They've done it with long drives. They spread the field. It is so hard on Vince Okru, the defensive coordinator for Colorado, to try to second-guess what Chuck Long's going to do.
And it's hard, but for Colorado's defense right now, they've got to find a way to make a stand on 3rd and 5 and get off the field. They have not done that very well this season, giving up way too many big plays in this situation.
Well, Sooners 2 for 2 on 3rd down. 3rd and 4. Quick slant over the middle. Pass is intercepted by Colorado. No, they're saying incomplete now. Akarika Dawn, a sophomore out of Sugar Land, Texas, thought he had it in his hands.
Take a look at from Jason White's perspective. He looks left and stays with the same receiver he locked on to right from the beginning, Mark Clayton. Big time play by Akarika Dawn. I think that he caught it.
I think he did.
And as he came down, the ball hit the ground, but he had both hands on the football.
He had both hands on it.
A tough call for the officials, but a big-time play by number 12, Akarika Dawn, stopping the Oklahoma drive.
Well, the crowd just saw it on the big screen as Blake Ferguson back at his 25-yard line. That's going to kick it away.
It cost Colorado field position because Oklahoma gets a chance to kick the ball away.
Jeremy Bloom lets it hit right at the 12-yard line. This is a great kick by Ferguson. His 7th kick inside the 20-yard line on the year. 52 yards on the kick. In 1990, this Colorado team won a national championship. Trying to keep Oklahoma from doing it this year.
Welcome back to Boulder, Colorado. Oklahoma up 7. We thought Akarika Dawn had an interception on this play, but watch as he comes down with the football. As he hits, see right there, the second hand is off the ball. Excellent call by the officials. We thought that should have been an interception and put the ball about the 46-yard line before the punt now put it inside the 10 and cost him field position. I can't believe I'm like Arthur Fonzarelli. I've got to admit I'm wrong.
We were wrong. The officials are right again. Into the flat, pass is complete. Derek McCoy gets close to the first down, and he may have it. Boy, Mike Stoops does not like it.
And what he doesn't like is the missed tackle in open field.
Yeah.
Because, oh, you know, when you make that play, you got to come up and put him down on the spot. They're going to complete passes, but missed tackle turns into yards after catch. And that turned into a first down for Colorado.
Well, you talk about those yak yards, yards after catch. Derek McCoy, the senior out of Thornton, Colorado, that's what they wanted him to improve on this year, and he has improved on those yards after he makes the reception.
Yeah, it also helps Derek McCoy being 6'3", 205 pounds, got strong in the weight room, and we saw the benefits of it on the last play.
On first down, Calhoun, the workhorse in that backfield, may have got up to the 20-yard line.
Boulders for Boulder.
Oh, I get it.
Huh?
Okay. You need to get out more, Charles.
You're telling me?
Second down and 8:38 to play in the first half. We've got a good one going on. Vickers. Pads are popping all the way up here as he gets up to the 22-yard line. Derek Strait coming up to make the tackle. We talked about that at the top of the show. Derek Strait coming off 2 great games versus Texas and Missouri. Really should have had 2 more interceptions versus the Tigers last week.
Yeah, just wasn't able to come down with them, but great play by him in the run game because he defeated the block by Derek McCoy, number 80, who Colorado touts as their best blocking wide receiver, and got to the ball quickly from the outside in, while Wayne Chambers, number 15, inside linebacker, inside out, and they made the stop.
Jeremy Bloom now in the slot. Third down and 6, an important third down. Bloom in motion. Sooners only bring 4. The pocket's starting to break down, and clock's going to take a seat back at the 18-yard line. Dusty Dvorak, the junior out of Lake Dallas, Texas. About 4 sacks in the last 3 games, making 5 sacks in the last 4 games.
This is why Oklahoma's able to drop 7 into coverage, because they have a front 4 that, as you said, collapses the pocket. What a great job by Dvorak, number 94, working on Derek Stemrich, number 52. Just walked him back to the quarterback. And then when Klatt tried to move in the pocket to get an open view, Dvorak made the sack.
Now watch this. The Sooners with 9 or 10 on the line. John Torp standing on his 4. But then they peel it back, and it's not a very good kick. Away from Perkins. He'll get it at the 42. Drops it. The wall's setting up. He could outrun it. But an excellent open field tackle and a takedown at the 38-yard line. 40 yards on the kick, -2 on the return. That's good special team play by the Colorado Buffaloes, but they trail in the second. Sun goes behind the mountains. You talked at the top of the show, Charles, that this Colorado defense needed success early. Hey, they've got it. They're only down by 7.
And I didn't expect a bomb on the first series would translate to success early for Colorado, but they've really battled back. And Oklahoma's average starting point, their own 28 during this game.
Sooners take over. White going deep, has a man. A penalty flag is thrown as guys were getting tangled up. Mark Bradley was streaking down the sideline, and the freshman Sammy Joseph was with him, and it could be pass interference.
Could be offensive pass interference, but it looks like Oklahoma celebrating. Sammy Joseph the freshman getting caught. This is Sammy Joseph here. Let's see what he does. Gets his hands on, which is legal unless the ball is in the air. I'm not sure when the ball was released by Jason White. I think what the officials determined was ball was in the air when he put his hands on him on the route. Yeah. And that's something we talked about with the Colorado coaches. Sammy Joseph's a redshirt freshman. So we look at the first 4 possessions, 2 touchdowns for Oklahoma, a fumble and a punt. But Sammy Joseph, freshman, who's had trouble with penalties recently because he's still learning.
And they were concerned with that. Ronaldo works the right side. Gets down to about the 42-yard line, closing in on 6 minutes to play in the opening half. Sean Tufts again on the tackle. Sean Tufts, who's the senior who really has taken it personally, the struggles of this defense. And we had a chance to spend some time with him yesterday, and he said, yeah, it's tough on me. And he was flat out mad about it.
Yeah, I had to get out of his way because
I'm not messing with him.
I thought he might want to front me up while we were just trying to have a conversation. He's a lot tougher than what I can handle at this stage of my career.
Well, and also he is in a long line of great linebackers here at Colorado. Ja'Shawn Sykes, Matt Russell. The pitch back to Works. Lowers that shoulder as he gets to the 30-yard line, and he takes a tumble out of bounds.
USC beat Washington today. Big win for Oregon today. They won 35-0 over Stanford. So I'm looking forward to that game. And those two teams really don't get along that well.
Not a bit. Not a bit. On first down, White straight drop, plenty of time over the middle. Pass is incomplete. Intended for Jawan Rankins. You don't see that too often with Jason White, a pass that far off.
No, and I'm not sure that was all his fault, because I think Jawan Rankins, number 3, stopped his route coming across. Watch from the right side of your screen coming to your left. All right, watch in the middle now. As he throws the ball, I'm not sure Rankins really would have gotten there in enough time in the right place for where the ball was supposed to be.
Now it's 2nd down and 10 for the Sooners. Keep it on the ground. Dante Hickson. He is stacked up as he gets inside the 30. Ball is loose, but I think they're going to say he's down. Let's see. The officials pointing it. Hang on. They're giving it to Oklahoma. Boy, Gary Barnett says, hang on, folks.
Here we go from our All-State goalpost cam. Gary Barnett saying they're the #1 team in the country. Don't give them more than they're supposed to deserve. Let's see where Hickson, ball's hit. He's still going, he's still going, he's still going. Ball's pulled out by Sorrell. The key is, when was the whistle blown to stop the play, because he was stacked up. See, my bet is that they stacked him up, whistle's blown, and Sorrell pulls it out after the whistle's blown.
Great job by our guys on camera. White looking for the screen pass, and he's got it. Jawan Rankins down to the 24-yard line. That's where he is going to be stacked up, bringing up a 4th down situation.
Did you see the reaction by the Colorado bench when they didn't get the turnover? How much they were upset and how much they were into the game? Yeah. You know why? They feel like this is probably their last chance to salvage their season.
Absolutely.
At 3-5, they need every turnover they can get, every ball to bounce their way. That's what has not happened for them all season long, and they are a team fighting to get back into the picture.
Carlo will try the field goal. They'll spot it at the 32-yard line. Matt McCoy, the holder, a 42-yard attempt. That'll split the uprights. Excellent job. So the Sooners get away with a field goal, but this Colorado defense is hanging tough against the #1 team in the country. Oklahoma Sooners, the #1 team in the country, went out in front 14-0. Colorado got a touchdown back, and now Oklahoma, headed up by head coach Bob Stoops, added a field goal. 17-7 is our score with 4:15 left to play in the half, along with Charles Davis, Craig Sager, and Aaron Andrews. I'm Ron Thulin. Welcome you to beautiful Folsom Field, a sellout crowd on a chilly Colorado night. How important is it for these Buffaloes to do something in this remaining time of the first half, at least get some type of momentum, because they've played a pretty good football game so far?
I think it's crucial for them. 17-7. The team is very much into the game, and there's an onside kick.
Onside kick, and the Sooners are going to get it. It went the 10 yards, and Oklahoma's got it. What a heads-up play again by Bob Stoops. Trey DiCarlo, the kicker's got it. He's pulled the rabbit out of his hat last year against Missouri. Did it against Alabama this year. Now he pulls this one.
And you know why he pulled it? For precisely the same reasons we were talking about how crucial it was for Colorado to get back in it. Bob Stoops saw the reaction of Colorado when they didn't get the fumble. He saw how hyper their bench was, how much they wanted this ball game, and how desperate they were, and he used it against them. Because now they're saying, okay, we're going to get the ball back. We're going to go down and try and score. Used it against them. They retreated quickly. Great play by Trey DiCarlo and the kickoff team for Oklahoma. Do you take the big shot downfield now if you're Oklahoma?
Absolutely.
Why not?
Why not? It's Donnelly in motion, dancing around. White looking down the right side, sets up the little slip screen. Juwan Jones. Tackled by Akarika Dawn.
See, when you're playing a team now that has gone to super aggressive mode, which Colorado has because they felt like they haven't gotten the benefit of a couple of calls, you use it against them.
That's right.
The screen pass is evidence of that also. First was the onside kick where they retreated too quickly to go set up their return. Nailed them on that. Screen pass because they came so hard after Jason White, went back against them.
Well, the second quarter has been the best quarter for the Sooners this year. Reynolds and Jones in the backfield. Jones behind the line of scrimmage, gets back to the line of scrimmage. Akarika Dawn again on the stop. And just a reminder to stick around for our Chili's halftime reporter, Ernie Johnson, Brian Bosworth will catch you up on all of today's action, including USC's big win over Washington, and in Tuscaloosa, it was a wild one, shall we say, from the very beginning. Can you say anything?
I better find it. I want to know the result first. I don't care about wild. I want to know how it turned out.
Yeah, there you go. Well, Ronaldo works by himself in the backfield. Second down and 10. 3:05 to play in the half. White looks, throws, passes incomplete, intended for Mark Clayton. Third down for the Sooners.
Nice coverage by Clyde Sorrell, number 20. Little inside route, trying to get the ball downfield to one of the Oklahoma playmakers. Sorrell breaks it up.
Well, they're thrown against a defense that was 115 against the pass this year. Their ranking in the NCAA, they're doing a pretty good job so far. Oklahoma facing third down. They're 2 of 4 tonight on third down conversions. They keep it on the ground. Great call by Chuck Long, but just being tripped up, it's Ronaldo Works. But Charles, he had the lane to run.
He had the lane, but a great play on the inside by Vaka Manapuna, number 93, the defensive tackle. If he doesn't make that play, Ronaldo Works is still running down the sideline. Great job by Vaka. Watch him fold inside, and all he does is get a hand on the heel of Ronaldo Works, which knocks his foot into his other one and knocks him down. Oklahoma will go for it here on fourth down.
Well, they're 8 of 13 this year, 62%. And it is loud. Everybody's standing at Folsom Field. Four to snap it. White's just going to hold it. Yeah, he's going to call a timeout with 1 on the play clock. 2:13 on the game clock. That's Oklahoma's second timeout.
I think they need to tell Mark Husterman there that it's a rant.
Yes,
not a laid-back dinner theater.
No, it wasn't. It was play a little John Denver music in the background or something.
You know, and where are you from, Cowboy?
Yeah, really.
Because the Buffaloes are going to win today.
We've got to go back to Oregon State with the Beaver cry. That's still my favorite. Now here's our situation. 2:13 to play in the half. The Sooners lead at 17-7. A lot of Oklahoma Sooner fans made the trip. About an 11-hour drive from Norman. Look at that Oklahoma offense on the sideline facing fourth down. You saw Kevin Wilson. Wilson, the former Northwestern offensive coordinator, really helped this blocking scheme of Oklahoma. Has done a great job the last 2 years for the Sooners.
And made them much more physical in the run game. I think that Oklahoma on fourth down just came out in a formation hoping to catch Colorado unaware or not shifting to the right spots, and then they just ran the clock down, took the timeout. Now they'll run their play.
Brandon Jones on the near side. Now Jones moving. 3 wide receivers to the right. Looking across the middle, has a man, it's complete, the 30-yard line, and dropped. That should be good enough for a first down. Mark Clayton with the reception. That is his third of the ball game. Great patience and pocket presence by Jason White. He waited until that the pass pattern was run, till it started to form, then he threw the football.
And great teamwork by all the receivers as Oklahoma goes with a quick count and gets right up to the line of scrimmage.
And the quick pitch works inside the 30, down to the 28-yard line. Clock continues to run, 1:52 to play. The Sooners with only one timeout remaining. This would be so disheartening if you're a Colorado fan, allowing Oklahoma to put any points on the board now, because you have battled your heart out for about 28 minutes.
And after giving up 2 touchdowns on the first 2 possessions, Colorado's defense has been oh so tough. Their best defensive effort probably of the year.
On 2nd and 7, White looks into the flat, works. To the 25, down to about the 23-yard line, and he stays in bounds. Clyde Sorrell, the senior out of Aurora, Colorado, on the stop. And that 1st and 10 line right at about the 21-yard line. 3rd down, and the Sooners have about 3 feet to get there.
And what did Chuck Long tell us yesterday in our meeting? That he's wanted to improve? The third and short. You know, possessions. This counts. Short is anything from 1 to 3 yards. They'd sure love to bang it in there and get a first down.
Donnelly and Moses, 2 tight ends on the right side. Now one goes in motion. They're going to throw it. And Jason White is hit. He fumbles. Colorado should have it. And they do. Clyde Sorrell came in to lower the boom. Alex Ligon gets the loose ball, but what a hit by Clyde Sorrell. And Jason White took one in the Texas game, and this is just as good.
Hey, if we take a look from the All-State goalpost camp, Vince Okru, the defensive coordinator, remembered last time on 3rd and short. You remember what Oklahoma did? They went deep to Brandon Jones on the first possession for a touchdown. This time he brought the blitz with Sorrell from the backside. He forces the ball free, and Alex Ligon, number 51, recovers. A huge lift for Colorado as they head into the half.
Excellent call by Vince Okru, the defensive coordinator. Passes incomplete. How about that shot, though? You talk about a tough player. That Jason White is. Marcus Tubbs lowered the boom on him in that Texas game. Serious cobwebs would not come out of the game. He's used to tough hits.
Yeah, he's missed enough action, so when he gets a chance to stay in, he will. But what a great job by Vince Okru filing away what happened earlier in the ball game and saying 3rd and short again. I'm going to sell out and go after him. If they want to run it inside, fine. But otherwise, if you want to get greedy on me, let's take a shot at it.
Oh, that's just what you don't want. Klatt needs to take a seat, and he does. I was just going to say, do you play it safe the last 34 seconds?
You do now. You do now, because now you're inside 30 seconds. You've backed yourself up to a 3rd down situation. Your defense played hard. It's forced 2 turnovers in the first half. You're only down 17-7.
Yeah.
I say take it to the locker room now, regroup a little bit. A really good half for Colorado. They're only down 10 and very much still into this ball game.
Well, they're not going to have to snap the ball, and that's a good thing. But what a first half. The Oklahoma Sooners went up 14-0, but Colorado came right back, cut it in half to 14-7. The Sooners added a field goal. And as we head to halftime, it's 17-7.
Well, Coach, you know you're in for a battle when you go for an onside kick in the 2nd quarter. What are your thoughts on that play?
Well, it was there, so if they're going to bail out, we thought we had a great opportunity to get it. It wasn't that we felt we were in trouble. We felt it was there.
Just think that possibly they're getting some momentum. They want the ball back. You want to take it away from them?
No, we thought we'd recover and have a chance to move down and score.
Jason White took a big hit there. Is he all right?
Yeah, he's fine.
All right, thanks a lot. Ryan?
All right, Craig Sager, good first half by the Sooners, good first half by Colorado. The #1 team in the country leads it 17-7. That concludes the first half of college football on TBS, a part of Big PlayStation Saturday. Now let's go to Ernie Johnson and Brian Bosworth back in our studios.
Yeah, quite a half, 10-point lead for the #1 team in the nation, the Sooners of Oklahoma. Ernie Johnson in the studio. There's Brian Bosworth, as you saw earlier tonight. He is under the weather. This is not an act. He's not feeling well. We've got the sofa out there.
I'm here, man.
You are a gamer.
Welcome back to college football on TBS, part of Big PlayStation Saturday. As we get set to start the 3rd quarter, the Oklahoma Sooners lead it by the score of 17-7. Along with Charles Davis, I'm Ron Thulin, and the Oklahoma Sooners won the flip, and they decided to defer to the second half, so they'll be receiving this second half kickoff. Good 30 minutes for Colorado. yards deep, and the Sooners will begin 1st and 10 from their own 20. Now, Charles, you look at Oklahoma's previous games this year, and the second quarter was always their strongest, but in the second half, both teams seem to have struggled. Who's going to have to take the advantage early in order to win this ball game?
Well, in order to win, it obviously has to be Colorado. They've been outscored 151-73 in the second half of games. And Gary Barnett, I know, has told his team first 5 minutes of the second half, absolutely crucial to our chances to win tonight.
Now the Sooners 1st and 10. They'll keep it on the ground. Works. Cuts back. Has some running room. Crosses the 30 to the 35-yard line, and he is going to be upended at about the 36-yard line. Sammy Joseph coming in to make the stop. Well, let's take a look at some of the numbers from the first 30 minutes of play. And what stands out to you, Charles? Outside of total yards, lopsided.
Well, one of the things that stands out to me is the average drive start, because in most games, Oklahoma has a clear advantage on that. And this one, it's almost a wash. Both teams starting at about the same place. The turnovers have been key because Oklahoma is actually negative in the turnover category, came into the game plus 12. You know, and in this ball game, I believe Colorado came in minus 12. So that's been very good for the Buffaloes.
Colorado, pretty good defense. Works is going to be stacked up by Nineheis. Well, after intermission, Craig Sager had a chance to talk to Gary Barnett about the first 30 minutes.
Coach, it's only a 10-point game, but 3 controversial plays that went against you, 2 fumbles, and then that interception. What did you tell your team at halftime?
Yeah, we can't worry about those things. We play through them. Our whole week has been based on winning this third quarter. So that's what we're focusing on. We're not worried about anything that happened. We got to worry about what we're going to make happen.
Excellent.
Just what we talked about, Charles. Winning that third quarter. Jason White, 2nd down and 15. Passes complete up to the 45 to the 47-yard line. Brandon Jones with a reception. Jones, of course, started the scoring with that 54-yard touchdown pass from Jason White in the opening quarter. Their opening drive, which lasted a whole 59 seconds.
And when you think about things that help you win a ball game, you would think tackling would be integral to it, right? Blocking and tackling, kind of the building blocks of a football game. Yeah. Colorado, again, missing tackles allowed Brandon Jones to make it 3rd and short instead of probably 3rd and about 6 or 7 after the catch.
Vince Okru telling us, the defensive coordinator, a couple of days ago, that that's been a problem with this team. 3rd down and 1. There's Moses in motion. They'll keep it straight ahead running. The Sooners get a 1st down and then some. Works, crosses the 45. Down to the 42-yard line. Clyde Sorrell coming up to make the stop. You know, but the problem is you've got to practice tackling, but how?
Yeah, how do you do it without risking injury with only 85 guys on scholarship, as well as you're getting into the meat of your season and guys are getting tired and trying to simulate the speed that you're going to get from the opposite team. On that play, you notice the old chess match between Vince Okru, the defensive coordinator we just saw on the screen there from Colorado, and Chuck Long, the offensive coordinator from Oklahoma. Early in the game, 3rd and short, bomb for a touchdown. Later on, sack. And this time they just ran the ball inside for the 1st down.
Reynolds running around. White's going to be pressured, and he's going to be tripped on the shovel pass. Gets it off to Reynolds, but he's going to lose a bundle. Back to the 48-yard line, a loss of about 6 on the play. White just did a good job getting rid of the football.
But if there's going to be a criticism, and I'm going to offer a mild one here.
Okay.
What he should have done in getting rid of the football was throwing it directly at the ground and make it an incomplete pass, because now you have a loss of yardage. See right there? That's a tough one. He gets it to Reynolds, fine. But now they've lost, what, 6 yards on the play? Yeah. Instead of 2nd and 10, if he throws it at the ground for an incompletion, now you've got 2nd and 16. Mild criticism, you know, the guy's awfully good player, but, you know, that's a tough one for them.
Rankins to the near side, 3 wide receivers to the right on 2nd and 16. White throws it in the flat, complete to Clayton. Nice spin move as he gets back inside the 40, down to the 38-yard line. 4th reception of the night for Mark Clayton, the junior out of Arlington, Texas. What I like about Clayton, the more you see him, Charles, he uses his body so well when he makes the catch on the football.
Yeah, he's not the kind of guy who catches the ball and considers the play over at that point. He wants to make a move and get upfield, and that is rubbed off on all the other receivers from Oklahoma, all of them striving for the yards after catch.
Well, he has better numbers than the heralded Roy Williams of Texas. He's done a nice job this year. 3rd down, we'll call it 6. Colorado needs a stop. They bring 4. No pressure. Pass complete again to Brandon Jones. Another first down. Sammy Joseph, the redshirt freshman, on the coverage. Aaron Andrews with more on Mark Clayton.
Well, Mark's recent surge in is forcing OU's sports information department to put in some extra hours. Poor Kenny Mossman, the wide receiver, has caught passes for more than 100 yards in 4 of the 5 games, including a record-breaking 190 yards versus Texas. Now, this is a postcard that OU's SID office is putting out. They're trying to get Clayton's name in the campaign for the Bolitnikoff Award this year, Ron.
As they should. He hasn't won any awards yet, he said. Works. Runs into his own man, and he's going to be stacked up, and not before he picks up a couple. J.J. Billingsley, sophomore out of Aurora, Colorado, coming up to make the stop.
Yeah, and when you take a look at what Kenny Mossman's putting out, there is the postcard. Caution, number 9 is explosive after the catch. Okay, that it goes to the point that you made about what he does afterwards. And with Aaron's story about Mark Clayton, now rising in the ranks of the guys that you have to talk about as the top receivers in the country. The good thing is the Bolitnikoff Award is not a closed award if you're not nominated in preseason. You can be added at any point during the year, and he's a guy that truly needs to be added.
Second down at 7. Jones, big hole, inside the 15, down to the 11-yard line. Kewan Jones.
Now this is a drive that I think if you go back to the Texas game with Oklahoma, where Texas was trying to build some momentum, and Kewan Jones, who only had 2 carries in the last ball game against Missouri, so you know he's anxious to create a big play. But you remember, they came out with a big multiple play, long drive that really took the wind out of the sails of the Longhorns. That's what Oklahoma's trying to do here to Colorado. As hyper as Colorado was coming out of the locker room at halftime, they want to take the starch out of him right here.
As soon as you can see closing in at 130, rushing the football, White throws up a duck, and it's going to fall incomplete, but great pressure, and Jason White is down and is slow to get up, and I think he got poked in the eye.
Good pass rush.
Doge coming up to make the pressure.
Yeah, great pass rush. Excuse me for stepping on you there, Ron. Great pass rush by Colorado, putting the pressure. There's Boydo, number 33, and J.J. Billingsley, number 5, one of the outside safeties in their 4-2-5 scheme. Enforcing the incompletion, White a little bit fuzzy.
Yeah, I think I don't know if he wears contacts or not, but he went right for the face there. Let's take a see if we can see what Scott Anderson, the trainer, wearing the brim. Now they're wiping off the tears. And they're quickly warming up Paul Thompson, who didn't see action in the Missouri game because Jason White threw the interception, and Chuck Long said, I didn't want Jason White to remember that. I kept him in the ball game. But Paul Thompson has seen a lot of action. He's just a sophomore, and Jason White's coming out, Thompson's coming in.
And Gary Barnett was barking at the officials. All right, is this a timeout, or is there, what's going on? Why are they getting extra on the play clock? Because it looked like the play clock has been restarted, and I don't think Gary Barnett likes that at all. He said either that should be a timeout, or the play clock should have run down. It should have been a 5-yard penalty against them.
Well, now the Sooners have 10 to step. Now they reset it again. They just reset the clock as it hit down to 10.
It's the 3rd time we've seen it reset.
Now we'll get an update, hopefully, if we're allowed, on the condition of Jason White in the eyes. Paul Thompson keeps it on the ground with Kewan Jones. Penalty flag is thrown. We have had a game where not a whole lot of flags have been thrown. In fact, this is only the 4th of the ball game, or 5th, I should say.
Yeah, a pleasant thing for us, considering last week we saw about 25.
Well, Jason White didn't sit on the sidelines too long.
Repeat, second down.
Penalty against Colorado.
Were they lined up in the neutral zone? Because I'm not sure I saw anyone jump on it. And take a look under pressure tonight. They've gotten to him a few times. Only 1 sack, but have knocked him down 5 times, hurried him 6. And this is about as much pressure, I think, as Jason White has seen all season long.
Yeah, he's trying to blink those tears away. But he's back in the football game. We told you this young man was tough. Runnels and Works in the backfield. Works inside the 5, down to the 3-yard line. Boy, you come with that trifecta in the backfield of Works, Jones, and even Hickson, who had the fumble earlier. I'll tell you that, you get 3 different types of runners also.
So do you get 3 3 of these runners this year equals 1 Quentin Griffin of 2002?
I think that's fair.
Because that's what they have to equate, because they lost Quentin, who ran for, what, 1,800 yards last year? And so when you're replacing that, you need 3 guys who will be productive, and their fullback, J.D. Runnels, is a great lead blocker for them.
3rd down and 2. They can get a first down at the 1-yard line. White throws it out in the flat, and it's incomplete. Bring up a 4th down. Now will the gambler Bob Stoops go for the touchdown to the field goal, and I think he's going to bring in Trey DiCarlo.
Yeah, already up 10. Good drive. He wants to come out of it with something. And this is good coverage by number 17, Medford Moore, the free safety. Because even if Runnels is able to pull that one in, Moore is right on the spot in order to help make the play.
Now they're going to spot this ball right at the 10-yard line, so it'll be a 20-yard field goal by DiCarlo. He's already kicked 1 tonight. He's 2 for 2 this year between the 20 and the 29. 3 for 3 total, you can see it. Good snap, good hold, and perfect kick. So DiCarlo gets his 2nd field goal. They continue to work on the eye of Jason White, but right now he sees the score at 20-7. In Boulder, Colorado, the Sooners with Jason White on the right, Chuck Long on the left, offensive coordinator. Long was telling us a story about getting poked in the eye and having only one eye last night when we met with him.
Yeah, he was talking about getting poked or taking a big hit that kind of makes you get a little fuzzy. Sometimes you see more than one person. We saw Jason White where they were closing his one eye, trying to get his focus back a little bit. You know, it's almost like the Rocky Balboa movies. I'm seeing 3 of them, Nick.
Right.
Well, hit the one in the middle.
That's right, hit the one in the middle. Jeremy Bloom stacked up at the 15-yard line. Good kickoff coverage by the Sooners. Now that Oklahoma defense in the first half, their usual excellent self.
Yeah, they get after you from so many different angles. Wayne Chambers on the blitz early, even though Joel Klatt completed that pass. There's Brandon Everidge and Corey Klein with a sack. Ball comes free. Dante Nicholson picks it up. Oklahoma dodges a bullet in the first half as Colorado is going in to score. Another sack early in the first half. Dusty Dvoracek, their defensive line playing as well as any defensive line in the country.
So far, altitude and the weather conditions have not been a factor for the Sooners. We'll have to see as the game wears on. Clapp rolling out, buy some time, completes up to the 17, 18-yard line. Derek McCoy, the senior out of Thornton, Colorado. That's his 2nd reception of the night. He's one of their big play guys as they continue to work on Jason White.
And Derek McCoy and DJ Hackett, we talked about at the top of the show, still trying to get that one eye so they can focus it back. You know, sometimes you're worried about if you got poked, if he pops some blood vessels in there, and you get a little blood in the eye, blurs your vision a little bit. We'll see how Jason White comes out of it. But, you know, DJ Hackett, Derek McCoy, big, strong, physical receivers that they need to make big plays. Now make catches, break tackles, get into the secondary.
Well, McCoy takes a seat. 2nd down and 8. 7.5 to play here in the 3rd. Vickers in the backfield. Clapp fakes, looks, goes streaking down the sideline, and it's going to be intercepted down to the 50-yard line by Antonio Perkins. His 2nd interception of the year. That is just flat-out good coverage, but I'm not sure that pass was that well thrown.
Well, Colorado is considered to have one speed guy, Jeremy Bloom. It's a stop-and-go route, hoping that they would bite. Neither Brodney Poole, number 23, nor Antonio Perkins, number 28, bid on the fake, stayed with the route. When Joel Klatt left the ball out there, easy interception for Antonio Perkins. Great coverage by the Oklahoma Sooners.
I'll tell you, a lot of people were not throwing at Perkins the last couple of games. They're throwing towards Derek Strait a little bit more because Perkins, they have such great respect for him as a cover corner.
Yeah, plus Perkins plays the wide side of the field, the field corner, a longer throw for quarterbacks. You tend to throw more towards the boundary because they're easier to complete, they think. 2 turnovers each tonight.
Jason White's going to keep it on the ground with Kewan Jones. Running room as he crosses the 45 down to the 42-yard line. James Gary coming up from that defensive end spot, the sophomore out of Colorado Springs. How about James Gary, number 82 for Colorado, who made that last stop? He's 6'5", 255, and the guy loves jumping on a trampoline. And when I saw that, I thought, nobody 6'5", 255 can jump on a trampoline.
Well, apparently he can. And it's supposed to be a great exerciser for you also, helping with your balance and your legs. All I know is you're not getting me on one.
Not a bit. Sooners will keep it on the ground again with Jones stacked up, but he's still able to cross the 40 down to the 37-yard line. Homecoming night here at Folsom Field in Boulder, Colorado. The Buffs 18-1 on homecoming. They're 9-1-3 on this date in history. That is the Dave Platty stat of the week, I'd have to think, including the 1986 upset of then number 3 Nebraska. Same day as Bill Buckner, by the way, booted the ball.
Yeah, I remember that day well also.
In 1969, they beat number 5 Missouri. Now they're trying to beat number 1 Oklahoma. They trail 20-7, 6:10 to play in the third. White throwing it deep, flat, incomplete. Pass intended for Clayton.
And to finish your stat for the day, wasn't this the same weekend a year ago? Did that happen with Oklahoma, with Texas A&M?
We thought it was, but went back and looked. It was
November. So we missed it by a couple of weeks or a week or so.
But still, this is the time of the year, as we talked about. They haven't lost a game before October 27th since 1999. But this is the time of the year when Texas A&M hung up on them.
Oklahoma State has gotten them twice in the last 2 years.
That's right.
That's why Bob Stoops does such a great job talking to his team about focusing and finishing the job.
At the 40-yard line, Kewan Jones is going to lose a couple on the play. Chris Hollis coming up from that linebacker spot, the sophomore out of Denver, Colorado, Aurora Hinckley High School. Now let's take a look at the Oklahoma leaders tonight. Jason White, you can see, and by his standards, this is an off night.
Was that a carryover from the Missouri game where he's a little bit less than 60%?
Yeah,
well,
really.
the reason he's off a little bit tonight is what we've seen from Colorado's defense. An increased amount of pressure on Jason White in the pocket.
Well, this would be a big stop for this Colorado defense. Third down and long. White looking down the middle. Throws, passes complete. First down, Oklahoma down to the 20-yard line. It's Joanne Rankins, the sophomore out of Windsor, North Carolina. How about 9 receptions the last 3 games coming into tonight? Now he's got 3 this evening. They just keep throwing these receivers at you.
They do, and they had 3 receivers to that side of the field, all running at varying depths. And Rankins really broke into the picture late. Just look to kind of the left side of your screen, because Jason White had a receiver open across the middle, and then you see the hit from the backside. But see how Rankins breaks into it late and underneath? Gets in underneath the linebackers. Excuse me, over the top of the linebackers and underneath the secondary. Nicely thrown ball.
Pick up at 19. They go back to Ronaldo Works. He gets inside the 20 down to the 15-yard line. This is about as methodical a drive as you could want in the third quarter. You're eating time, and you're putting yourself in a position to put points on the board.
And remember, it's back-to-back drives, because the last one was methodical also. It culminated in a field goal to put Oklahoma up 20-7. They get the ball back, same type of drive. Just what you said, eating clock, but also wearing down the Colorado defensive front with the big offensive line of Oklahoma.
Second down and 5. Sooners dominating time of possession here in the third. Works inside the 15, looking for Pater, but he's going to be knocked out of bounds at about the 4.5-yard line. Medford Moore, the senior out of Los Angeles, California, making the stop. Well, I tell you what, Ronaldo Works, he's the long strider, the soft-spoken captain of this team, but he can really turn it on here.
Now watch number 60, Wes Sims, right there. Great block on James Gary, number 82. You notice how Gary had a chance to almost slide off and have a play on Works, but Sims's block knocked him off of his route to Works. That gave more room for Works, number 47, to get into the secondary.
How about Colorado here in the third quarter with 4 minutes left? They've only had 2 plays on the offensive side of the football. Moses in motion. Back to Works. Goes the other way. Cuts back, loses the football. Colorado, I think, has got it. The Buffs have the ball. The Sooners into this game, Charles, only lost 1 fumble. Problems tonight.
Yeah, very much so. And Bob Stoops does not play into the altitude factor at all, and also doesn't play into the fact that it's going to be colder here than it would be back in Oklahoma. You wonder about the moisture or lack thereof. And you know this well also. When it's colder, it's harder to grip the football. You're not feeling it as well as you were before. I know they don't make excuses, but those are good plays by Colorado, because their pursuit forced Works back into traffic. And see Clyde Sorrell, number 20, knocked the ball free with his left hand as Works tried to make the extra move. Great stand by the Colorado defense.
3 fumbles tonight for the Sooners. Colorado gets stacked tripped up at about the 6-yard line. It's Calhoun, or Daniel Jolly, I should say, the young true freshman out of San Antonio, who had the very costly fumble early in that first half of the ball game.
Now, you don't want to make excuses for Oklahoma. They don't need excuses.
Absolutely.
They need guys to hold on to the football. All right, but when you haven't practiced in these types of conditions, your first time out can be somewhat dicey. But more credit should be given to Colorado's defense for digging in, not giving up despite 2 long drives against them, and forcing a turnover and giving their offense a chance.
You don't want a team like Colorado hanging around you.
No, because they are explosive on offense. You don't want them to get untracked.
That little play action, throws it off into the flat, looks for Calhoun, just out of his reach. Down at 8, 3:15 left to play in quarter number 3. Sooners lead at 20-7. Joel Klatt's had a pretty good game so far tonight. A couple of miscues and interception. But this is a dangerous part of the field they're in right now. I think Texas would attest to that.
Yeah, and we've seen Oklahoma back off and just rush 4, sometimes just 3, and drop 7 or 8 into coverage. I don't think so this time. I sense the Sooners coming after him.
Well, Teddy Lehman sneaking up to the line of scrimmage. That's got some time, throws it out of the flat to Marte, and it's complete up to the 11-yard line, but it'll be short of the first down by about 4. Now you have a punting situation.
You know what they say about those routes that are short of the first down marker? In a lot of ways, it doesn't do you much good. They got a little bit of extra room in order to get the punt team out on the field, but field position should change to the benefit of Oklahoma at this point. I would not be surprised to see Oklahoma not rush the punter and set up a return for their ever dangerous return guy, Antonio Perkins.
Well, and Perkins standing at his own 45-yard line. The Sooners now with 7 on the line of scrimmage. And Shelby trying to sneak up, low snap. But Torp is able to get it away. Perkins from his 48. Look out. The wall starting to set up, but he gets down to the 40-yard line, and we've got a lot of pushing and shoving going on to that punt return team. 38 yards on the kick. We'll call it 10 on the return. Sooners with good field position and the lead. 27 is our score. 2:59 to play in the third, and Jason White continues to blink on the eyes, according to our Craig Sager. Got poked in the eye a couple of minutes ago. Tell you, once your eye starts watering in this cold weather, it doesn't help either.
No, it does not. And you asked the question before, maybe he wears contacts, and Craig Sager's found out the information that he does not wear them.
Okay, Kewan Jones, running room inside the 30, down to the 27-yard line. James Gary with his 3rd tackle of the ball game. You know, you have to give some props, though, to this Colorado defense. Vince Okru has been under a lot of heat. Very unfairly, I might add. You know, you don't get dumb overnight when you're a coach, and that always kind of surprises me. They have stayed so consistent as a defensive staff.
And we had a chance to go to practice Thursday, and we saw how Vince Okru interacts with his defensive players.
Impressive.
And it's very impressive how hard they want to play for this guy. They've been to back-to-back Big 12 championship games. No, he did not get dumb all of a sudden. He has some injuries and some young guys. They're going to be fine.
Straight ahead running inside the 20, down to the 19-yard line. And he's never made excuses. Age, loss of players, whatever. This defense has allowed 40 or more points in 5 straight games. There's a number of reasons why. We talked about the lack of turnovers, which they were very concerned about.
Yeah,
but I'll tell you what, that is one good defensive coordinator right there.
Yes, he is. And Gary Barnett, his head coach, deserves some credit too for not playing into the fact that things haven't gone well.
Kewan Jones stacked up after he gets close to the first down. Needed to get down to about the 17-yard line. And I think he should have it. And Kewan's slow to get up. That's not a good sign.
Yeah, no, it's not. But, you know, to finish off that point, Oklahoma's playing basically a 4-2-5 tonight. So is Colorado. Colorado's been doing it since they played Oregon in the Fiesta Bowl with Joey Harrington and crew. As he said, you get spread out so much now, it helps to have 5 defensive backs on the field. As we mentioned, they've been to Big 12 championship games playing this scheme. They just need to keep getting some more players in it, and they're going to be all right.
First and 10 from about the 16-yard line. White goal for Pater. Wide open. Touchdown, Oklahoma. Mark Clayton. Now the problem with that Colorado defense, they've been doing things well, just not consistently.
Yeah, not well enough. Watch Mark Clayton as he comes and runs his route. He's going to come inside and then work his way out. See, that's Clayton. Now he's going to cut to the flag, and on the inside route run by the outside receiver, That drew the coverage towards him. Clayton breaking to the flag, perfectly thrown ball. Another touchdown for Oklahoma.
And the extra point. Carlos sneaks it inside the upright. 1:37 to play in quarter number 3, and this third quarter has belonged to the Sooners. They lead it now by 20. Oklahoma's last win in Boulder was October 22nd, 1988. They were 0-3-1 since then, and tonight, before a record crowd at Folsom Field of over 54,000, they lead it 27-7 as they continue to work on Jason White. Third quarter, though, we talked at the intermission about how Oklahoma has struggled in the third quarter, and Chuck Long saying we don't know why, we need to get better. How about 25 plays on offense compared to 5 on offense for Colorado in the third quarter? That's domination.
It is on both sides of the ball, because the defense shut down Colorado, gave the ball right back to the offense, and 2 long drives have started things out for Oklahoma here.
A little pooch kick by DiCarlo at the 20-yard line. To the 25-yard line, Sorrell, and he is put down at about the 24-yard line when all said and done. Now it's time for the Best Buy Authority Report, and here's our resident authority, Charles Davis.
Well, at the top of this ball game, we talked about how Colorado had maximized their offensive possessions, and each possession is crucial, but the one that sticks with me, the fumble in the first half when they were going in. I believe it was Daniel Jolly going in. That really took the wind out of their sails at that point, because Colorado had something going on. But for the most part, empty drives for Colorado. That's why they're in the position they're in right now.
Well, they have 132 to work with here in quarter number 3. And Gary Barnett's team has played inspired football tonight, forcing the fumbles of Oklahoma, and they still find themselves down by a bunch. Bloom in motion. And they'll get it back to him, trying to get to the outside. Crosses the 25 up to the 27-yard line. Craig Sager, you've been on the Oklahoma sideline. Give us an update on Jason White.
Well, Ron, the eye injury could be a little more serious than we documented earlier. He did have a little blurred vision. The training staff put some eye drops in, and they send him back out, as he, of course, always wants to go back out. But now they've called the doctors over, and they're working on the sideline, apparently taking a better look at the eye in case, as you mentioned earlier, there possibly are some broken blood vessels, or it is a little more serious than we thought.
You don't want to hear that. It's just such one of the great stories of college football this year. Bob Stoops said it's been gratifying to watch this young man, and you don't want to see him hurt. Calhoun gets absolutely nothing.
Oh, man.
And all of a sudden, you saw his little 5'10", 190-pound body go down about 3 feet into Folsom Field.
And did you see why? Number 97, Tommy Harris, whose stats will never overwhelm you, because as a defensive tackle, hard to accumulate them in the scheme Oklahoma has. But on that last play, all he did was blow it up totally. Took the offensive lineman who was trying to block him and ran him back into Brian Calhoun, who had nowhere to go. That's a big-time play by the All-American.
The proud son of Reverend Tommy Harris. Flat, straight drop, looks in the flat. Throws, passes complete to Ron Monte, and he's dropped at the 30-yard line. Well short of the first down. They'll need about 4. That'll bring up a 4th down and 4.
See the difference there between receivers and DBs? Put him down on the tackle right away.
Well, we have 3 quarters into the books. Colorado's given Oklahoma a run for the money, but the #1 team in the country leads it by 20 as we head to the 4th. Welcome back to college football on TBS, part of Big PlayStation Saturday as we set to get started the 4th quarter. The Oklahoma Sooners lead the Colorado Buffaloes 27-7. Along with Charles Davis, Craig Sager, Aaron Andrews, I'm Ron Thulin. Colorado facing 4th and 4, and John Torp, their punter, standing back on the 16-yard line. Sooners with 10 on the line. And they peel it back. It's a fake. Wide open. Torp. First down. And then some to the 50-yard line. What a great call by Gary Barnett. Boy, Oklahoma showed like they were rushing, but they peeled back quickly.
Now watch Danny Bradley, #1. He has a chance to make the play, but he's retreating. And then Torp makes a great play running past him. 20-yard gain. First down for Colorado. Hey, Gary Barnett says, Bob Stoops, you're not the only one who can gamble around here, as we take a look at from our All-State goalpost cam.
We want to thank Allstate for providing tonight's goalpost cam. You're in good hands with Allstate. Now, Gary Barnett says when it comes to punt, the problems we've had, it's on me. I coach it. Well, we'll give you some props on this. Clapp looking. He is going to be dropped back at the 43-yard line. Lynn Magruder, the junior out of Las Vegas, Nevada, started his career at Tennessee. An explosive defensive tackle makes the stop.
And when we did the Oklahoma at Iowa State game, Lynn Magruder didn't make the trip. He was sick. And this is what we missed. This guy working inside. And you know who he's working against? The big-time all Big 12 player, Marwan Hayes, number 62, the best offensive lineman for Colorado. Magruder defeated him to get back to the quarterback.
Now, that's the 5th sack tonight by this Oklahoma defense. And the offensive line of Colorado had only given up a couple in the last 3 games. They haven't played this type of front four before.
Yeah, it's hard for anyone to keep this type of front four out of their quarterback's lap.
Now facing 2nd and 17, Joel Klatt calls the timeout. 13:40 to play in the ball game. Colorado trailing the Sooners. Hands play. You're in good hands with Allstate, and we'll give it to Mr. Clayton.
Yeah, right. Nice post corner route back of the end zone. Great throw, great catch.
You know, that fake punt, and this is an interesting statistic, the fake punt by Colorado, that was their longest play tonight. It was also their first down running the football.
Boy, this offense has changed, hasn't it? I know that was a special teams play, but you know Colorado as a running team, not this year.
The smash mouth football, Teddy Lehman gets upended. That allows some open space for Klatt. To the 45, takes a vicious hit at the 43-yard line by Derek Strait, who laid the wood to Joel Klatt. You're not going to get knocked down like that in baseball.
No, not very often, not unless it's a Roger Clemens throwing one hard inside and you're going to drop down from there. But we talked about Jason White, how tough he is. I think you better say the same thing about Joel Klatt, because Derek Strait really stroked him on that play. And Klatt got up and bounced right back into the huddle.
That's a denture check, but how about that block Calhoun had on Teddy Lehman, who was blitzing on the play? Just flat out upended him.
It did, and it opened the lane, as you mentioned, for Joel Klatt to run in.
3rd down, they still have 5 to go. Sooners bring 4. They dump it underneath Lehman right there to make the stop, but it's a 1st down for Derek McCoy and the Buffs. That's the 3rd catch of the night for the senior from Thornton, Colorado. I'm telling you, we got a lot of time left. 13:27, you hang 7 on the board right now, and all of a sudden, who knows?
And another reason why Gary Barnett thought that was a good time to try for the fake punt. I'm sure he saw something in what Oklahoma was doing, but I really think that it was more Oklahoma just wanted to get the football back. Weren't going to put a pump block on, just wanted to get in the hands of the ball of Antonio Perkins. They vacated too soon. John Torp took off, and now Colorado has a drive going.
They called this game an opportunity game, an opportunity to turn their season around. Calhoun on a little draw. Oh, they fake it, and Klatt throws it. It's incomplete. Intended for Derek McCoy. 2nd down and 10. Klatt, pockets collapsing, throws it down low. McCoy slips one tackle, gets down to the 32-yard line. Pickup of about 5 on the play. We'll bring up a 3rd down and 5.
Watch Jonathan Jackson, number 49 for Oklahoma. He's a defensive lineman. He'll be rushing. While Joel Klatt completes this pass, watch what happens downfield, right? You see Klatt complete the pass. Now watch, right there. He's going to come and almost make a big play pursuing after having rushed the quarterback. The last time we saw Oklahoma, Tommy Harris did the exact same thing. Knocked the ball free from a wide receiver downfield. Oklahoma recovered. Great pursuit by the defensive line of the Sooners.
Jackson's got freaky speed for his size. That's flat out freaky. 4 for 9 on 3rd down. Klatt looks, throws, pass, dropped. Let's see, they're calling it an incomplete pass. Boy, the pass was there, but Derek McCoy, I should say DJ Hackett could not come up with it.
This would have been a big-time catch because the coverage was good. Watch Hackett inside using his body to shield it, but Perkins is right on the play, able to get his arms inside also and help strip the ball free.
Okay, Coach Davis, why not go for it? 4th down, you're playing the #1 team in the country, why not?
That's a good question. You know, it really is a good question.
Because,
you know, in this situation, after having fake punted, I probably would go for it here because I wouldn't want to lose all my momentum. But he's probably looking at the clock with 12:02 and thinking we've still got a chance to get the ball back.
And it's a fake. They're going for nobody in particular. Penalty flag is thrown. It's going to be intercepted. Perkins has it, and he is going to be knocked at the 20-yard line, but we do have a penalty flag thrown, and this could be interesting. It may, I'm not sure what it is. Let's see.
Maybe holding in the secondary against Oklahoma. Might have two different calls, too, because flags were dropped in two different spots.
And it's against the Sooners. Well, that was not one of the better fakes we've ever seen. John Donahoe stood up, and everybody in white jerseys knew it was coming.
Pass interference in the defense. Penalty being forced at the spot of the foul. First down.
Now that is a huge break for Colorado, who didn't have any in the first 30 minutes.
Let's take a look to the right side. Right there, Wayne Chambers is holding on the intended receiver downfield. Good call by the officials. Nullifies the interception. Colorado keeps the ball. I will admit to this. When I saw him line up for the field goal, I'm thinking surely he won't fake it because they just faked the punt. And the fake still worked anyway off of the penalty.
Well, when you saw Oklahoma rush, everybody started to jump for the block, and they kind of got hit with it. No, it's nothing more. They kind of gave up. Platts got some room. Pass complete. Down to the 15, to the 10, to the 5. Calhoun, touchdown, Buffaloes! Wayne Chambers, who has been hurt, is down on the 16-yard line. But the touchdown by Calhoun.
Well, Joel Klatt has dumped the ball off on a check down to Brian Calhoun a number of times tonight. Wayne Chambers came into the game with a bad ankle. He can't make the play. Derek Strait can't make the play coming over the top. And the Calhoun takes it into the end zone. Big time play, 21 yards on the play. Touchdown, Colorado. And you just mentioned it. If they could get a touchdown, they've got a chance with plenty of time left on the clock. The fake field goal working out very well for them after the penalty against Oklahoma.
Jason White, meanwhile, on the sideline, continues to try to get the cobwebs out of the eye and throwing the football, but you saw Chambers on that when he went to turn. The leg just gave out, Charles.
Yeah, he hurt his ankle against Missouri, and they said he would be okay for tonight, but it appeared that the ankle just kind of gave out on him again as he went to make the play. How about Gary Barnett? 2 fakes on that possession kept them going. Well, fake punt was a big one. The fake field goal, I thought, well, 4th and 4, if you're not going to go for it, surely you won't fake it here because they would be prepared. And Oklahoma generally was, but Wayne Chambers held on the play.
That's right.
And that turned out to be a bonus for the Colorado Buffaloes.
And Mason Crosby with the all-important extra point to pull him within 13. And it is good. 11:49 to play in the ball game. The Sooners haven't won here since 1988. They lead it, though, by 13. We'll be back. Now, Mr. Calhoun, Brian Calhoun, the sophomore out of Oak Creek, Wisconsin, with the touchdown reception. And Gary Barnett's team, they are leaving, as the cliche would say, everything on the field tonight with 11:41 to play. They trail 27-14. The booming kick, 5 yards deep into the end zone, and Oklahoma will sit on it. Well, this week's installment of Home Depot Building a Team features Colorado's 2-deep chart by class, and you can see just how young Gary Barnett's team is.
Yeah, you know, you'd love to have it spread out a little more. 14 seniors, 14 sophomores. Like to have a few more in the junior class, but when they say the future is in front of them in Colorado, you can see why. With most of the guys who are playing on the 2 deep being freshmen, sophomores, and juniors.
Well, he said that they're about a year away.
But they're growing up fast tonight.
Oh, yeah.
This has been a big night for them.
I think Gary Barnett's aging tonight, too. Sooners keep it on the ground up to about the 24-yard line as Kewan Jones. Let's go back to it. All right, EJ, as Oklahoma swings it out as Kewan Jones gets over the 30-yard line. Good enough for a first down as Gary Barnett sending fresh troops in on the defensive side of the ball.
You know, the Oregon State-Washington State game still has a 4th quarter to play, but that's the Oregon State we expected to see last week. I have a feeling Mike Riley did a great job rallying his troops and getting them off of the yap and penalty fest and just playing some good football.
And that was the problem with them last week. They just need to put a little duct tape on the mouth.
Yeah, you can't really talk the game. You got to play it first, and that's what they lost sight of last week. But they've got it back together this one.
Well, Colorado needs a stop. Here they come on the blitz. White throwing it up deep. Pass is incomplete. Just threw it too far out of the reach of Will Peoples, the junior out of Humboldt, Texas. Second down and 10 for the Sooners. Plenty of time left. Colorado has come up with some good stops. Bob Stoops' team has fumbled 3 times tonight, lost 3 fumbles, I should say. Coming into the game, they had only lost 1 on the season. Now they face 2nd and 10. A little pitch. Works. He is going to be smothered at the 32-yard line, setting up a 3rd down play. Alex Ligon on the stop. Redshirt freshman out of Torrance, California. Nine Heiss also in on that. Nine Heiss has had a great year this year for Colorado.
And he made the play on this one. Watch him at the top of your screen. See how he takes to the fullback, Runnels back into the play, forcing Works back inside. Nice play by Gabe Nine Heiss, number 97.
Gary Barnett recruited at Northwestern. Big 3rd down for the Sooners. Colorado rushes 4. White, plenty of time over the middle, complete to Clayton, and that should be good enough for a 1st down. And we have, is there a penalty flag down? Yes, there is, and it's going to be holding against Oklahoma. Uncharacteristic for Oklahoma to put the ball on the ground like this and have these kind of penalties.
They were working against Colorado's dime secondary, 6 defensive backs. Look to the left of your screen. I believe is right there. It's like number 52, Chris Bush, who we were told would get an increased amount of playing time because he's been practicing so well. Gets caught holding a little extra cloth on that play. Now making it 3rd and very long for Oklahoma.
Okay, one thing that Colorado wanted to do was go after Jason White. Do you go after him now on 3rd and 20, or do you play that little dime package?
I think I rush 5 on this one. I take one more guy and put him into the rush and make sure that you keep the ball in front of you and make the tackle. You want the ball back.
Sean Tufts doesn't rush. White, he is going to be sacked back at the 13-yard line. Matt McChesney, the junior out of Longmont, Colorado, with his 2nd sack of the year, and that's the 2nd sack of the night for the Buffs.
Huge defensive stand for Colorado. And instead of rushing 5, they just rushed 4. McChesney beating Chris Bush, number 52, who had just gotten called for the hold, comes inside and puts down Jason White, forcing the punt. Now Colorado should have excellent field position and momentum.
Blake Ferguson's had a great year standing inside the goal line. A high, spirally kick. Jeremy Bloom tried to come up with the catch. Knocked at the 39-yard line, a 52-yard kick. 5 on the return. 8:48 to play. Colorado with a football. Gary Barnett in his 5th year, the 57-year-old who was a wide receiver at Missouri, has his team putting it all out tonight. They trail, though, the number 1 team 27-14. 8:48 to play in the ball game. Now Oklahoma's defense has got to answer the way Colorado's defense answered.
Well, Colorado scored. Colorado's defense then came out and shut down Oklahoma and forced a punt. OU's, number 3 ranked defense in the country. This is their chance now to answer.
Well, Klatt's changing the play at the line. Oklahoma with 5 on the line of scrimmage. They only bring 4. The quick out pass is complete. DJ Hackett up to about the 43-yard line, about a 5-yard gain. That's his 5th catch of the night. Well, the Colorado leaders tonight, you can see what Klatt has done. Not a bad night passing the football. Calhoun, a big night. Hackett's been solid.
About what you would expect, really, going into the game, especially the rushing yards. You didn't expect them to be able to run the ball much against Oklahoma. They need to get their bigger plays in the pass game, and that's what's happened most of the night for Colorado.
Klatt, 3-step drop, throws it out in the flat. Pass is complete up to the 47-yard line, and it's Derek McCoy. Well, there's Brent Venables, co-defensive coordinator of the Oklahoma Sooners. He's got a 3rd and 1 situation for his defense. First man through. Vickers plows his way up to the 50-yard line. That'll be good enough for a first down. We want to make sure we take time to give our best to the John Hessler and former quarterback here who back in 1995 beat Oklahoma, was the National Player of the Week that week. John was involved in a very serious car accident Sunday. He's in a coma in a Denver hospital. We understand they have the TV on next to John tonight. John, our prayers are with you, my friend, and we wish you nothing but a very speedy recovery. It's just been a real tragedy for this Colorado football family. But, John, we want to make sure we wish you the best.
Get well soon, John.
Pass out of the flat. What a catch down to the 45-yard line. Jonathan Jackson tipped it, but Derek McCoy still was able to come up with it.
Sean Watson, the offensive coordinator, told us that these receivers have been on a mission this year. Talk about Derek McCoy and also talk about DJ Hackett. And there's proof positive of what Sean Watson was telling us. Great hand-eye coordination, staying with it after Jonathan Jackson knocked the ball off of its initial flight.
Now second down and 5, 6:36 to play. Colorado, only 8 plays in the third quarter. It looked like Oklahoma was taking control. 3 to snap it. On the handoff, Calhoun trying to get to the outside, but that's the speed of the Oklahoma defense. And that was the charge of the defensive line led by Dusty Dvoracek. Tommy Harris was also right behind him. And you look at Dvoracek last night in the hotel, and the first thing I thought of was professional wrestling. Need to call our buddy JR, Jim Ross, because look at the hair. He's got that whole look, and he's just such a physical ball player. Talking to Jackie Schiff, another former Oklahoma great.
Yeah, well, another All-American. So that's almost like death taxes, and you can't run wide against this Oklahoma defense. Make a move, you have to get up into the hole because they'll run you down with their speed.
This plays into Oklahoma's hands. Third down and long. Here they come with 6. Platt seeing the pressure. Just tries to dump it off, and it's going to be incomplete, intended for Derek McCoy. They just tee off on you when you have third and long.
Yeah, they forced the pass, and what was interesting is if Platt had gotten it to McCoy going away, McCoy had a chance to be going away from Brandon Everidge.
Now Colorado's going to call a timeout with 5:37 to play in the ball game. They trail by 13, and they need to make a decision. To college football here on TBS, the T-Mobile play of the game. And it's the first touchdown for the Sooners. Brandon Jones, just 59 seconds on the drive, covers 50-plus yards, and that's our T-Mobile play of the game. Craig Sager, what do you got?
Well, Gary Barnett not only was worried about Oklahoma, but he was worried about the team's attitude and chemistry. That's why he met with each player individually yesterday. I tell you what, he told them they want to have one heartbeat, and they are certainly into it. They're pumped. They're not sitting down. They feel like they are in this game, and here's the big play right here.
This is it, 4th down and 8. Platt, 4-man rush by the Sooners. Throws it for the first down. They've got it down to the 30-yard line. A great catch by DJ Hackett again.
You have to give a bunch of credit to the much maligned offensive line of Colorado. Watch these guys. It's a 4-man rush with Oklahoma. Gave Joel Klatt plenty of time to find DJ Hackett downfield for the first down. Oklahoma very confident with their defensive line. That's why they rushed 4 and dropped 7, thinking they would cover all the gaps. But when you block all 4, that gives your receivers time to get open.
Picked up at 17, 1st and 10 from the 30. Again upstairs, over the middle, pass is caught, inside the 15, down to the 14. Joe Kloffenstein, the big tight end out of Aurora, Colorado.
When you've got momentum going your way, you make great plays. The ball's a little bit behind Kloffenstein, number 89. He pulls it in with one big paw and takes it down inside the 15. Colorado in business, making this a great ball game.
Second reception for the big tight end. Last couple of games, he quit thinking, is just reacting. Now the play clock down to 8 for confusion on Colorado's side, and they're going to burn another timeout. Boy, you don't want to do that with 5:08 to play.
Now with
I think they had 12 guys on the field.
Now with a chance to go in and a chance to make this a 7-point ball game.
They did have 12 men on the field. Craig Sager, what do you have for us?
Well, what happened after they got the first down, the play clock did not stop. It continued to go and did not reset it. So right now, that's why Gary Barnett had the timeout to talk to the officials. They may get this timeout back.
Well, Craig, you don't want to be home cooked by your own timekeeper.
No,
you know?
and you remember Gary's probably referencing the 3 times they saw it reset for Oklahoma in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, boy, they'd love to get that timeout back. Well, stick around for the Chick Quattro post-game report. Ernie Johnson and Brian Bosworth will catch you up on all of today's action. They'll give you the highlights of Alabama, USC, and Washington. Of course, Washington State, Oregon State, all of that coming up on the Chick Quattro post-game report. And highlights, of course, of this ball game, which has been a good one for, if you're a Colorado fan. Bob Stoops just wants to get out with a win because they know that Oklahoma State's next week. But they also know that they've had tunnel vision this year. Let's just take one game at a time. But Colorado's given everything they can handle to them right now. Now I think John Bible's coming over and going to talk to, well, no, he's going to the phone on the near side of the timekeeper. John Bible is on the near side, our referee, at about the 26-yard line. There he is. Craig Sager, what's going on?
Well, Gary Barnett won his argument. They are going to put more time on the clock, but the officials refused to give him his timeout back. So he's not at all happy about that, but he did win the point that they did not stop the clock after they got the first down.
So he got about a half win out of that, but a valuable one in terms of time needed in case they score at this point and have to stop Oklahoma on defense and get the ball back.
Well, Charles, we got a moment. Let's take a look at our game summary as John Bible comes back, because it's been a good one. The Sooners scored the first 14 points of the ball game, but Colorado's just hung around, Charles.
Yeah, and right here has been the big one for me. 3 fumbles lost by Oklahoma, 1 loss before tonight. That's allowed Colorado to hang around, and as you said, you don't want a team this dangerous hanging around if you're Oklahoma. And Colorado has another chance now to make this a 7-point game with about 5 minutes to go.
Well, they added 10 seconds on the clock, so they're back up to 5:18. Colorado, 1st and 10. Ball is on the 14-yard line. John Bible still talking it over, wants to make sure. We've seen John Bible for a lot of years. He's one of, if not the best in the conference.
And they want to make sure they get it right, which I appreciate.
Absolutely.
As someone here. You know, last week I was saying, hey, when you make the call and keep the game moving. But in this situation, it's entirely different. You got to get the call correct and make sure it's fair.
Well, he's talking to Mark Johnson, the back judge. Bob Stoops trying to make sure he gets his point across. I don't think the guys in stripes are listening about him.
No, I don't think, because John Bible is saying, you know, it's pretty much an A, B, C conversation, right? You know.
Well, what do we say to our kids? If we wanted your opinion, we'd ask for it, or we'd tell you what it is.
Yeah, exactly. John Bible, if I wanted your opinion, I'd give it to you.
Yeah.
So right now,
yeah.
And we're kidding about that, because one of the good things these officials do is that they let the coaches know why they made the calls they've made.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's almost preventive officiating to let them know and try and keep them involved. Because if you just turn a deaf ear to coaches, it just gets worse, and it's not fair to the coaches. They're trying to correct the errors that are going on too, and this crew's done a good job of that tonight.
Well, Gary Barnett did not look too happy when he turned around just a second ago.
Have you ever seen a coach look very happy when officials talked with him? You know, it's not, you know, the last time I see him happy is in pregame when they shake hands with the officials. Then they all kind of have a little chuckle, and they all realize this is the last time they're going to laugh with each other all night.
That's right. Now John's going to come over and talk to Gary. Well, they went back to 5:08 on the clock now, so they took the 10 seconds off.
But did he get the timeout back? Because before, you know, as Craig reported, they gave him 10 seconds, but they didn't allow him to have the timeout. How are they going to flip-flop that?
Boy, if that's their last timeout then?
See, right now we're showing no timeouts left for Colorado with 5:08 to go and down 27-14.
Okay, they keep 5:08 on the clock, so we're ready to go. It's 1st down and 10. After all that, we're back to where we started. Now the Sooners jumped and Colorado pulled up. Everybody's pointing at each other. I think it's going to go against Oklahoma.
Defense is in the neutral zone, causing a false start by the offense. 5-yard penalty.
Penalties, turnovers. That's why the game is close, and Mike Stoops doesn't like it.
Yeah, and I have to add in there Colorado's heart tonight.
Absolutely.
Craig's report about one heartbeat in the meetings Gary Barnett had with every player yesterday paid dividends, hasn't it? They have been playing with one heartbeat all evening long, even when they were down 14-0 to start.
Jeremy Bloom wide to the right. Clapp over the middle again. Inside the 5, down to the 1-yard line. Touchdown, Colorado! Derek McCoy!
Working inside, out of the slot, Derek McCoy. Now, we talked about the big physical receivers Colorado has. Derek McCoy using every bit of his 6 feet 3 inches to turn off of the tackle and get in. Getting the ball across the plane of the goal line. Colorado now.
And the extra point is blocked. Rodney Poole got his hand on it. Now, it's 27-20. And boy, that is a big play. Watch it again.
Watch Rodney Poole coming from the back and leaping. The rule is not the same as the pros, is it? Didn't we see that with Indianapolis and Tampa Bay, coming from the back, and you can't come down on a teammate and what have you? Rodney Poole, number 23. And you know something? He wasn't even up right when he blocked it. He had already gone vertical, right, and then gone horizontal and was coming down. He was already on his way down blocking it, so I don't think that kick got much height.
The #1 team in the country. They have 5:03 on the clock. Is it too much time right now to kick the onside kick? Do you try to put the onus back on your defense that maybe they've been on the field a lot, especially that third quarter, maybe running out of gas?
The only, he's kind of caught betwixt and between because there's 5:03 on the clock. If you were down around 3 minutes, I think you have no choice but to try an onside kick it. Here's why. He has no timeouts left. So his defense has to force a 3 and out with 0 timeouts left. You know, they can't use that in order to stop the clock between plays. So if he's going to kick deep, he's told his defense, either got to force a turnover or immediate 3 and out. You can't let them have any type of a drive because we'll lose time on the clock. So don't be surprised if they do onside kick here just because they're out of timeouts in this game.
Record crowd at Folsom Field, and they're going to just kind of pooch kick it down to the 25-yard line. Perkins, and he is dropped at the 25-yard line. 54,000 on their feet. Aaron Andrews, what's the attitude on the Sooner sideline?
Well, Ron, all the Oklahoma players are obviously up and off the bench, but they don't look too concerned. They're all jumping up and down, and that's not just to keep Warren. They're trying to keep their players and also the fans into this game. The coaches also look very calm as well. They're just talking to their players, trying to get them in the right frame of mind. Guys, back up to you.
All right, Aaron. They haven't been in this position since probably the Alabama game.
But the mark of a champion is holding your poise in these types of situations.
They fumbled 3 times tonight and lost them. They keep it on the ground with Deion Jones. Straight ahead running, the clock runs up to the 34-yard line. Sean Tufts, 11 tackles tonight for Tufts. Let's take a look at what has caused Oklahoma to keep Colorado in this ball game.
Here's one where Dante Hickson just doesn't possess the handoff very well. Ball was there. Clyde Sorrell with the blitz from the backside, knocking it loose from Jason White. Ronaldo works, and it's Clyde Sorrell again, number 20, who popped that one free. And then the pass interference on Wayne Chambers wiped away an interception off of a fake field goal. Colorado took advantage of that and went in and scored.
Jones straight ahead running. First down, Oklahoma. Colorado out of timeouts. Stop the clock while they move the chains. And Long, offensive coordinator, up in the booth.
Yeah, and reason we're showing him is that he's calling this ball game now understanding 2 things. One, Colorado has no timeouts left, so if we can run the football effectively here, we'll keep the clock moving and we'll wipe out the rest of the ball game. And 2, we have the number 3 rated defense in the country.
That's right.
And despite the fact Colorado just scored, they're going to take their chances with them.
Running the football again. Jones stacked up, and he is going to be pushed back to the 35-yard line. They'll mark his forward progress at about the 33-yard line. Getting up slowly on that play was Vince Carter, the center, and he looks like he's got a little hitch in his get along too.
And he's coming out. And Chris Bush, number 52, is going in to snap the football. That's when you get concerned about a guy who hasn't snapped all game going in with your quarterback, because you can't afford a fumble right now. Colorado's defensive front will try and get into gaps and push up field and try and make a big play and knock it free.
Will Peoples is checked into the lineup for Oklahoma. 2nd down and 9, 3 wide receivers to the left. Big cushion given by the secondary of Colorado. They throw the little screen pass. Caught up to the 40-yard line to the 41-yard line. It's Kewan Jones. That'll bring up a 3rd down and about 7. 2:50 to play in the ball game.
And if you're Oklahoma here, know what you're thinking? I'll tell you what I'm thinking. I'm thinking attitude run. What I mean by that is being able to run the football when they're loading up for you to do exactly that. They're going to take as much time as possible off the clock before they snap it. And I wouldn't be surprised to see them run it again and punt the football and rely on their defense.
13 to snap it. Jason White in no hurry.
Might even take a penalty at this point or a timeout.
I think he's going to take the timeout as the play clock is down to 2, down to 1. Taps John Bible on the shoulder, and they'll do that. 2:13 to play in the ball game. Bob Stoops' team facing 3rd and 7. Colorado out of timeouts. A while ago as we look at Jason White talking to his offensive staff, but on the far side of the field again, Colorado's entire team came out to the 50-yard line, gathered around Gary Barnett. Now they've got a record crowd at Folsom on their feet.
You saw the graphic there showing how Colorado has really bounced back off of the deck and put up big yardage in the 4th quarter as they've gotten more than back into this ball game. 3rd down, they need to stop here, and an opportunity to get the football back for one last drive with Joel Klatt in the offense. Yeah, you know, every time I've guessed with Oklahoma tonight, I've been what?
Yeah.
I've been wrong. Okay.
So we all have.
You know, but I'm still going to stay by it one more time. Oklahoma runs the football here, and if they have to, punts it away and puts it on their defense.
3rd down and 7. White being chased, throws in the flat, pass is complete to Clayton, 1st down and then some. Goodbye, Mark Clayton! To the 10, to the 5, touchdown Oklahoma, incredible! That'll break your heart.
I guarantee you one thing. I'm not playing poker with Chuck Long.
Never.
Because there's nothing left to me at this point. All right, I called for him to run the ball there, put it on the defense, little short out route to Mark Clayton, and he turns it into a monster play. You see Chuck Long, whew, great call because he has confidence in his playmakers. But Colorado missed how many tackles with an opportunity to get Mark Clayton down.
Which we talked about in the 2nd quarter. The extra point is good. The Sooners with over 930 yards after catches already this year, chalk up 50-some more.
Great job, really a pick route. You see Lance Donnelly, number 86, the tight end, kind of set a little screen, and then Mark Clayton all the way back across field. And there's Terrence Wheatley, number 26, with really the last great opportunity. Great pursuit all the way down to the end, but Mark Clayton, once again, you know, we use the term playmakers, maybe we overuse it, but in this case it truly applies because this was the play of the ball game. And Oklahoma now looks like they're going to go and get ready for Oklahoma State in the Bedlam game
next week in
with their
Norman.
#1 ranking intact. And that will be the game of the country next week.
Yeah, Colorado depressed, but they put their hearts out of tonight. And right now, Les Miles back up in Stillwater looking at this game. And Les has done a great job with the Cowboys. And now Oklahoma taking on number 18 Oklahoma State next week. Lost the last 2 in a row, cost them the national championship, at least a shot at it.
Yeah, they got 3 straight home games coming up: Oklahoma State, Texas A&M, and Baylor, before finishing at Texas Tech. And we talked a little bit about the weather tonight being cold. Remember, the Big 12 championship game is in Kansas City this year.
Yeah.
An open-air stadium in December is going to be a night similar to this.
Well, DeCarlo does the smart thing. They're trying to keep it away from Jeremy Bloom. Marcus Moore at the 25-yard line, and they'll take a seat at the 23-yard line as the clock reads 1:54 to play. Now let's take a look at some of the scores from around the conference today. Texas Tech gets throttled by Missouri. What a great game for Brad Smith. He had about, what, 1,000 yards, I think it was?
Somewhere in that neighborhood, give or take 1 or 2.
And Bill Snyder gets right back into the North hunt. Texas blanking Baylor, Nebraska blanking Iowa State, and of course Oklahoma State over A&M, and the standings in that North. Right now, Nebraska with a 1-game advantage over Missouri, Kansas State, and Kansas. Talk about that Kansas State-Nebraska game coming up.
Which will be absolutely huge, because you could have a 3-way tie at the top, and all the tiebreakers would be all mixed up, with Missouri having beaten Nebraska now. And if Kansas State beats them, then you've got a real showdown later in the year.
Well, DJ Hackett on the reception, and Colorado's not going to go down and just lay over here with 1:51 to play.
There's no reason to. You make a big play now with 1:51 to go, score quickly, onside kick, you still have an opportunity.
They're out of timeouts, though, so they've got an uphill battle.
And they've got to strike downfield. The short passing game doesn't help them much at this point.
Sooners blitz, and the Sooners drop Klatt. Joe Klatt is sacked again. That is the 6th sack tonight, and this time it's by Calvin Thibodeau, the sophomore out of Houston, Texas. That's his first sack of the year. We've got an offensive lineman down for the Colorado Buffaloes. Looks like Sam Wilder.
Fresh legs on the pass rush for Oklahoma. They just keep coming, and now you're calling names of guys you hadn't called at all the whole evening, making big plays down the stretch. We hope Sam Wilder will be able to get up and go off under his own power. He's a former defensive lineman. Switched over to offensive tackle in fall camp, a week into fall camp, and they say he's getting better and better every week. Brings a real defensive mentality to the offensive tackle position. Real tough guy.
They call him the halftime baby because he was born halftime of the '81 NFC Championship game, the catch by Dwight Clark that game between the Cowboys and the 49ers. Clint O'Neal now takes his place with 1:33 to play in the ball game. And we've got some movement. Jason White tonight for the Sooners. Got poked in the eye, came back, fought through it. I mean, this will only be the 3rd game this year that he started and finished because it's been blowouts. But he came back and led the Sooners through the touchdown pass to Clayton, which gave it 34 points for the night.
Along the road to a possible championship, those teams always get challenged. Oklahoma definitely got one tonight.
And Klatt is going to be sacked again. We saw this with Georgia Tech the other night. They didn't go to any prevent defense. They just kept blitzing, and that's what the Sooners are doing now.
Yeah, a lot of coaches now say the prevent defense is one that just prevents victory.
That's right.
You lay back and give a guy time, and they'll pick you apart. They like to go with their strengths a little more. And Oklahoma's used to playing zone behind their blitzes in order to try and help prevent those big plays.
And this is 4th down. This is the ball game. Klatt seeing pressure again, trying to get away from it. Throws this one up for grabs, and Oklahoma will take over with 50 seconds left. And the Sooners will up their record to 8-0. Bob Stoops' team was in a dogfight tonight. Made a couple of mistakes. Colorado played with a great deal of heart, but the Sooners will head back to Norman tonight with the win. And everybody now looks towards the Bedlam.
You go back to Aaron Andrews' report. There's Sean Tufts, the linebacker for Colorado. You go back to Aaron Andrews' report about how composed their sideline was when things were getting very tight. And they came out and got the drive that salted this one away with the pass to Mark Clayton. And right now, I'm just going to go right on record and say it. I'm not sure there's a better play caller on offense in the country right now than Chuck Long.
I agree.
Because he will make the tough decisions and go after you at times when you would think, hey, let's just put it away.
Well, what's different this year? You can see how they started since 2000, 7-0, 7-0, 8-0, 8-0, but then they stumbled in 0-1 and 0-2.
Well, 0-1, they lost to Nebraska and Oklahoma State down the stretch. It was at Nebraska, lost to Oklahoma State, I believe, in Norman. Then last year, at Texas A&M, and at home, and then at Oklahoma State in Stillwater. And now down the stretch, we showed you their schedule before. Bedlam next week with Oklahoma State in Norman. Then at home, the next week with Texas A&M. We're on the road to Texas Tech. Can they keep their focus?
7 straight versus Big 12 North opponent foes for the Oklahoma Sooners. They finally win in Boulder, the first time since 1988. Two excellent football coaches just rolling the dice against each other tonight with a couple of fakes. Good solid football and a lot of heart by that Buffalo team, but the Colorado Buffaloes come up on the short end of the stick to the #1 team in the country, 34-20, but this was a lot more than most people expected.
Without a doubt, and again, teams on their way to a championship will get challenged because that's the biggest game on the schedule for the teams opposing them. And Gary Barnett and his team had the gut check tonight, and I really think they answered the bell. I think they have a chance to really finish up with a strong season, but congratulations to Oklahoma.
Let's go down to Craig Sager. Sags.
Well, as we mentioned, the big play, 2 minutes left to go in the game. You have the ball on your own 40-yard line, 3rd down. Looks like a running play. Were you surprised they called a passing play and that you were able to take it all the way?
True. Just happy that our coaches called the play. I mean, they call the right plays in the right situations.
2 touchdowns from Jason White, who apparently earlier in the game got poked in the eye. How bad was your vision?
It got blurry for a while, and put some drops in it. It cleared up a little bit, but other than that, pretty good.
Talking about the gutsy play calling by Oklahoma, I know you have a chance to call your own plays a few times, but that big one to Mark Clayton here, was that from Chuck Long upstairs?
Oh, yeah, definitely. That came from upstairs. Clayton, he want the ball in the players' hands. 3rd and 5, put it in our players' hands. He got the first down and got a lot more.
You feel fortunate to get out of here with a victory tonight?
Definitely. We faced a great team. People don't realize how good they are, and they played us tough. It's the first time we won in Colorado in a long time.
Since 1988.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Ron?
Ron, this team, Oklahoma, was challenged. They answered it tonight. Big game for them.
Final score, 34-20. Our next telecast will be next Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern as the Washington Huskies host the Oregon Ducks. For Charles Davis, Craig Sager, Aaron Andrews, and the rest of the crew, I'm Ron Thulin saying good night from Boulder, Colorado. After this break, it's the Schick Quattro postgame report with Ernie Johnson and Brian Bosworth.
Back here in Studio A for the Schick Quattro postgame report, Ernie Johnson, and the ailing Brian Bosworth, who has made his way from the couch over here to the set. He's going to suck it up in play here for the next 15 or 20 minutes, much like your Oklahoma Sooners did tonight. This on paper could have been really ugly. Colorado, the bottom-ranked team in terms of points allowed in the country, going up against a high-scoring team. But they hung with them and gave them a scare in this game. What were your thoughts as you watched it?
I thought it was a great coaching job by Gary Barnett. Buffaloes were back against the walls. They had nothing left in their season, and this one game was going to make or break their season. They came out. Their defense did a really good job. I was really impressed with what they did on defense, but I'm a little concerned about Oklahoma. Their turnovers, they hadn't done that yet this year, and those are kinds of things going into a big game next week against Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State, the team that ruined it last year. So what would Oklahoma State have to do to beat Oklahoma next week?
Continue to do what they've done the last 2 years. They got 3 great players over there. Josh Fields, the quarterback, Rashawn Woods, Tatum Bell. All 3 of those players are on fire. They're on fire at the right time. Oklahoma State with Les Miles, they seem to have Oklahoma's number, and going into Norman, it's going to be a great game next week, November 1st.
That is a big one. Let's move now.